What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Teach Henley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Teach Henley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Teach Henley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Teach Henley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? How y'all feel today? It was a great show last night. An incredible show last night. Shout out to Myron Gaines for pulling up on the show. Shout out to all of the panelists. Shout out to Lex, Molly, Slimmy, Kim. She don't like for me to call her Kim. Kimmy, Miss Sanchez, Q Diddy, all of the panelists, all of the people that pulled up. If y'all did not catch the show last night on After Hours, it was a great show. Platinum Prophetess says, AD, how is your rise going? I've never heard anybody say that before. I've never heard that before. It's going great. It's going great. What's up to my girl, Messy Michonne? I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for rocking out with us. What up to all of my friends and family? And so we got a great show lined up for y'all today. As usual, I am bringing on the developer or the person that is proposing the development, the $50 billion development here in Detroit on Belle. He will be joining us shortly in roughly about a half hour or so. His name is Rodney Lockwood specifically. And so he's going to come on and talk about that. I have a bunch of questions for him. So this live stream might be a little bit longer than usual. And then obviously I'm going to bring y'all through it and show y'all and have a conversation about everything that's going on, including the young lady that was killed over in Atlanta from Detroit. And so I want to talk about that also. But what's going on, friends and family? How y'all feeling today? Some people say, Anton, do you sleep? Sometimes. Sometimes I sleep. Somebody said, this is my birthday weekend. That's a woman thing. That's a woman thing. When women are the only creatures that celebrate their birthday for an entire month, they have a birthday month. What up, Tabby? What up, OG Rihanna? What up, Jason 18? My girl, Brittany, Platinum Prophetess, Shakur, I see y'all. Texas Stock Exchange is coming. Yo, if you're not a part of the Patreon, I actually posted the Patreon information about the Patreon live stream. So go and check that out. I don't believe in that, Brittany. You say, Anton, this is your B-Day weekend too. I don't believe in that, Britt. I'm going to be honest with you. Yep, I have a birthday on Monday, OG Rihanna. That is true. But, do you know what I'm going to do for my birthday? You know what I'm going to do for my birthday? I'm going to work. I'm working. I'm live streaming. I'm working. I got some business that I need to take care of. I got some sites that I need to go and visit. So for some possible acquisitions on some real estate type stuff. I'm working. I got a meeting with a really big meeting on Monday. And I'm gonna be live streaming, which nothing changes for me. Nothing changes for me. Like I don't take it off and be like, my daughter is listening. She said you're gonna live stream. I don't change. Nothing changes for me. You know what I'm saying? Nothing changes for me whatsoever. So I don't get into that. I don't do none of that. For all of the guys that are interested in gossiping, I don't have anything for you. I'm sorry. Why is it always guys that's asking me gossipy questions? Women don't even do that. What is up with the guys? Hey, man, y'all got to drop y'all balls. Honestly, y'all got to drop y'all balls. Y'all got to stop leaning into gossipy. Y'all don't ask me real estate questions. Well, that's not true. A lot of y'all do. But en masse, you're not asking me about money. You're not trying to figure out how to go get a bag. You're not trying to figure out how to fix your family. Y'all all, the only thing that y'all do is talk about that. Y'all ain't got no, that's the first thing that y'all wake up to do is talk to me about gossipy stuff. That's it. You ain't trying to get no money together. You ain't trying to figure it out. None of that. It's weird, bro. It's weird. It's a weird time and place that we live in. Shout out to Mike, that dude. I appreciate you, Mike, that dude. Thank you for holding me down. Yeah, I'm trying to elevate y'all mind. I'm bringing on a developer that's proposing a $50 billion development in a city, and y'all want to ask me about gossip? I'm trying to bring y'all into my world of how I communicate and asking pertinent questions, and y'all talking about gossip? I just dropped the link to the live stream because we're going to be deep diving into the upcoming mega IPOs, which includes SpaceX, Anthropic, OpenAI. All of them is proposing to do an IPO this year. And y'all want to talk about some gossip? Y'all ain't about getting no money? Shout out to Mike, that dude. I appreciate you. Also, my dog, Spencer Campbell. What up, though? I see you. Good morning, AD and the Bag Chasers Stock Club. Yep, it's posted. So if y'all not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. AD, you streaming Monday, says Chris Cunningham. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely, I'm going to be streaming. Nothing changes. We going to get to the money. We definitely going to run up a bag. Listen, this is what we focus on. We let everybody else get to the gossip because that's what we do. We the algorithm, and then we focus on the money. We focus on where the bags are. We focus on the money, and we focus on running it up. We don't get into all of the rest of that because that's what everybody else do. We let everybody else promote you, and you focus on the things that's going to be best and pertinent for your family and running up a bag. Why talk about something everybody else is already talking about? We want to capture everything on all angles. And if I say something about it, then where's the mystery in that? There's no promotion in that. We want to make sure that we maintain a level of mystery, right? We got to leave something. We got to leave some crumbs for the people to talk about, right? Got to let them have the low-hanging fruit, and then we go and get the steak and potatoes. Anti-algorithm Daniels, that's a fact. All right, let me read some of these super chats also, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the show because I got something that I want to share with y'all before I bring on Mr. Rodney Lockwood. TL410 Gaming says, good morning, Anton and the fellow bag chasers. Beautiful morning in Baltimore. For those fellow chasers that's in the area tomorrow, the Baltimore Food Festival starts this weekend. pull up and let's have some fun. The Baltimore Food Festival. Is it going to be a decent crowd? Like, is it going to be all cultures, or is it going to only be us? Is it going to be a decent culture, or is it only going to be us? Let me tell you why I'm saying that, TL4 Gaming. Let me show you why. I'm going to come back to your super chat shortly, but this is why I'm saying that.
Is demanding answers after her daughter was shot and killed while working a late-night shift at Steak and Shake. Investigators say it all started with a drive-through dispute and ended with bullets flying. This happened last night on Belle Fountain Road in North St. Louis County. Our Megan Kernan has been on scene all afternoon. Megan?
Mike, this Steak and Shake is closed today after 32-year-old Chauncea Meekins was killed here and this drive-thru now boarded up. We talked to her mother, who tells us this was completely senseless and says no one should lose their life over something as simple as fast food. Police say it started around 11:30 last night with a confrontation in the drive-thru between customers inside a car and employees. During the argument, one of the people in the car pulled out a gun, shot through the window, and sped away. Chauncea Meekins was hit and killed. Another employee was shot, but is expected to survive. Meekins' mother says she had just talked to her daughter a few hours before this happened. She says she rushed here after seeing posts online, only to find shattered glass, her daughter's car, and a scene she says she'll never forget.
Been shot at Steak and Shake over some French fries. I just want to know why. Why would you shoot her? You didn't have to shoot her or the other employee. I just wish they find the person who did this and bring justice to my family. I just want my baby back.
Meekins' mother says her daughter started working here a few months ago, juggling multiple jobs, and was looking forward to celebrating her birthday in just 2 weeks. Police have not released any kind of suspect description and are still looking for the shooter. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. Live in North St. Louis County, Megan Kernan, 5 on your side.
Right now, a lot of questions remain unanswered in the killing of a woman who is working a Steak and Shake drive-thru. The victim's family is speaking this evening about this violent attack. The shooting happened late last night in North St. Louis County. That Steak and Shake is in Spanish Lake along 270. It's where Dunn Road and Belle Fountain Road meet at the interstate. This shooting appears to be over food. So let's get more from our Shoshana Stahl, who is live at 5 from that Steak and Shake tonight. Shoshana.
Yeah, Corey, I spoke to the victim's mom out here in the parking lot of the Steak and Shake earlier this morning. She tells me her daughter had only worked here for about 3 to 4 months, and she loved coming to work. Now she's trying to wrap her head around how her daughter could be killed simply just doing her job.
It's never that serious to take a person's life over some fast food.
Tamala Washington was woken up by her family this morning to the news her daughter, Chauncea Lachelle Meekins, was killed while working at the Steak and Shake in North St. Louis County Wednesday night.
I couldn't believe it. I just talked to my daughter. We was talking about her birthday. She wanted me to cook a special meal, her favorite meal. Her birthday is April the 23rd of this month. Instead of celebrating her birthday, I would be burying my daughter for some senseless act.
St. Louis County Police say around 11:30 Wednesday night, 2 workers were shot after a confrontation at the drive-thru. Washington says the Steak and Shake manager told her it was over the customer asking for more onion rings. Chauncea was weeks away from celebrating her 33rd birthday.
Onion rings. A life was taken over onion rings. You see how unserious about life that we are and that the culture is? Listen, we had a very, very heated debate. I wouldn't even say heated. It was a very passionate discussion and civil debate last night over what was going on in the world. And it started off with, obviously, what was happening with Megyn Kelly and different Republicans and what they were talking about, and then Iran and, President Trump and what was the real goal of us being there and the partnership with Israel and all of these different things, right? And so we had this and we were talking about American soldiers. But let me just tell you something, bro. Black culture, not black people, because I think that there's a difference. Black people can be in black culture, but black culture is something that is promoted. And I've been saying this for years. The things that we promote. Can it change? Of course, it's possible for it to change as far as the things that we promote and celebrate and what is normalized in the community. But you don't have to worry about blaming white people. Let me tell you something. Shout out to my girl Molly. I love Molly. I think that she's a superstar. And if she ever wants to really break out and do her thing, she would take off like crazy. Molly is a very intelligent young girl, and she spends a lot of time researching and deep diving and understanding politics, especially on the international level. A little bit of a little bit of conspiracy, in my opinion, but I think that it's great. I think it's great that she has these conversations on a regular basis and all of that. But you know what's so interesting about it is that I was thinking in my head, because as Molly and Slimmy was talking last night, you know what I was thinking about? Somebody has sent me an email of this story. This story last night. And I was thinking to myself, we don't have to worry about this. Molly was like, yo, bunkers, this and that, whatever, so on and so forth. And I was thinking to myself, oh, we ain't got to worry about that. You got to worry about the homie that's in your own neighborhood, the guy that lives right next to you.
She's loving, caring, friendly. She loves to party. She would give you the shirt off her back if she had it. There's nothing she wouldn't do for anybody that she tried to help.
Another worker was also injured, but is expected to survive.
We should no longer be surprised. The rate of violence that is happening in the St. Louis metropolitan area should be alarming to all of us.
James Clark with the Urban League says their community outreach programs like Urban Therapy and the Gun Violence De-Escalation Network are working. But the culture around violence, he says, is rapidly changing.
Crime and violence is becoming a more and more accepted and expected culture. And how do we begin to look at what we're currently doing that is getting results? How do we begin to come up with new adaptations to what we're doing?
And Clark says that includes businesses adding de-escalation training into customer service training.
De-escalation training, y'all. They're telling you that we need to figure out how to train customer service representatives, people that are working at the drive-thru, people that are sitting and taking care of business, people that are flipping burgers and dropping fries inside of hot oil. We need to learn how to train them in de-escalation tactics. This is what they are trying to tell us. Guess what's not happening? This mother right here is not bringing her daughter back. Her daughter was working at Steak and Shake, got killed over onion rings, extra onion rings. Somebody shot up in there and sped off and killed her and hit another worker. De-escalation tactics? You don't have to worry about none of that. De-escalation tactics. No, the problem is that you got these thugs, this culture, these people running around with guns and switches, these mothers that are raising children without a father in the household, kids raising themselves, teen takeovers, cars being stolen. We don't have to worry about Iran. You got to worry about little homie over there and whether or not you put enough onion rings inside of his bag. You don't have to worry about Israel. You got to worry about whether or not you're going to kill being going on your way to work tomorrow if you in St. Louis, in Chicago. You don't have to worry about Russia. You got a Russia and Ukraine war right in your hood. We don't. It's no point in us sitting here talking about any of this stuff because we don't even have our own neighborhoods and our own. Y'all sitting here worried about what's going on. You got a problem right next door. Every time, if you pull up with a new car, they probably gonna take it and send it right to the chop shop, keep the engine for themselves, swap out the regular engine inside of the 300, put your Challenger Charger engine in there, the Hellcat engine in there, then they're gonna pull up right next door and act like they went and got a new engine for themselves off of Facebook Marketplace. You ain't gotta worry about none of that. They're gonna take your own stuff and pull up next to you and act like it wasn't them. It's insane. It's insane. You ain't got to worry about leveling up. I promise you, the culture ain't gonna let you. Bro, when you level up, you got to level up just enough, just here, and you got to make sure you don't go past here. Cause then you're gonna sell out. They're gonna say you sold out to them folks. Israel bought you, you a sellout. I can't believe that you want better for your family. What you talking about? Oh, you out there with them folks. You want to live out, you want to get out of the hood? What? Man, put some more onion rings in the bag, bro. Hey, I can't, bro. My manager said I'm gonna get fired if I boop, 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 boop. I promise you, if you level up just enough, they want you to, they gonna be happy for you as long as you're not doing better than them. If they think that you're doing even a little bit better than them, it's up. It's up. And you know what the worst part about it is that we actually know who the killers are. Everybody know who the killers are in St. Louis. Everybody know who the killers are in Chicago. Everybody know who the shooters are. We know who the people are that are selling the drugs. We know. We already know. You know who the PDFs are. You know who the chicks that's out here setting people up are. You know, we know. Listen, not only do we know who's committing the crimes, we knew who was going to be the criminals before they ever committed the crimes. We see them in school. We see them being raised. The kids know who's, bro, mock elections. Have you thought about that? Most likely to succeed, all of these things. Kids already know. They're smart enough with their underdeveloped brain to be able to identify who's going to be successful and who's not, who's going to jail and who's not. It's just not culturally acceptable for us to say, all right, who's going to go to jail, who's going to fail, who's going to sell drugs, who's going to be an abuser, who's going to be this. And so we have to do things differently in our culture and our community in order to get different results. You're never going to ever have to worry about anything outside of the culture as long as what's within the culture is toxic. Nobody is surprised. You're not going to get any surprises as far as, you know, any community people that's saying, oh, we need to do things differently. There will be no protests. I'm pretty sure that woman didn't even have life insurance. And so they're going to have to do a fish fry or they're going to have to do a GoFundMe for her child in order to bring them up and try to fix the situation. And it's very unfortunate. It is very, very much unfortunate. I pray for the family. I pray for the cultures. But if y'all going to fix y'all neighborhoods, it's not somebody that's going to come in here and save you. You're going to have to do it yourself. You're going to have to participate in your own success. And stop downing other people for them wanting better for themselves. Let me read some of y'all super chats. TL4 Gaming says, good morning. Oh yeah, I read yours. Yep. If I had the capacity, I would be in Baltimore, but I can't because I have to be in Detroit this week. Moses Prophet says, top of the morning. How you feeling, AD? Bullish or bearish? Bullish, always. Always bullish. Sterling, what's going on, Sterling? Salute to you. AD, I'm going to send you over a video about the $1 billion Baltimore Harbor renovation that's taking place starting this fall. I've never actually visited Baltimore. I've been in the DC area, the DMV. I don't think that I've ever actually taken a tour in Baltimore. I'm gonna have to come and visit Baltimore and see what's going on. Terrible People Podcast says, God bless this family. It's not other people that oppress these people insight, yet this is what the trash and its current culture supports. All I'm gonna say is let me out of the car. Keep it. This isn't everybody. Shout out to you, Terrible People. Marlo Reed says, keep up the good work. Yep, I am familiar with the Detroit rapper. I'll cover that later on, Nicholson. We living in a real life world of the flies. Well, listen, I have better news because I want to have a conversation with somebody that I've done a little bit of research on as far as trying to understand exactly what the proposition is to change the culture in Detroit or to further upgrade and change the culture in Detroit. Maybe I should actually show y'all a video. Hold on, Detroit. Before I bring them up. See if we can get this up pretty quickly. So this is the proposal. Let me play this for you guys, and then we're gonna come back, and then I'm gonna have a conversation really shortly. But for those of you that may have missed that live stream, I want to share this 2-minute news clip with you guys so that you guys can better understand what we're about to have a conversation about. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
City. CBS News Detroit's Alicia Bergio explains.
It's a big plan. There's no doubt about it.
Having spent his career as a developer, Rodney Lockwood now has a bigger, bolder vision to turn the historic island of Belle in Detroit into a self-sustaining city.
We would do it with no federal money or state money or taxpayer money. It'd be totally privately funded. From a sizing standpoint, it would be the largest privately funded project in the United States.
With places like Singapore or Dubai, for example, used as a global hub. Currently, Belle is run as a state park by the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Lockwood says he believes it's underutilized.
Our plan is to maintain it as a park, but to take the underutilized or unutilized portions and bring people in to live on the island, build a community of up to 50,000 residents.
Lockwood's vision includes a walkable city with a monorail, restaurants, homes, office and retail space, and much more. Total estimated cost of the project, $50 billion. All
right, I'm going to leave it right there. And I want to introduce Mr. Lockwood into the show. Mr. Lockwood, how you doing today?
Good morning, Anton. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I like that Wayne State shirt.
It's our urban university. It's our great university anchoring the town.
Yeah, so I was interested in speaking with you about this proposal for this development, and I have so many questions for you. And so first of all, I want to appreciate you for coming on the show and blessing me with your presence so that I can get more insight and better understand exactly what your vision is for Belle Isle and for the city. So just for the people, if you can just introduce yourself and give a little bit of a brief introduction of exactly who you are and why you think that this is a great proposal for the city.
It's Rod Lockwood is my name, and I'm in the real estate business. We have been largely in the affordable housing sector. Back 30-some years ago, I co-founded the Mission Housing Council, which is the leading trade association for affordable housing. Our company, between my father and me, and I'm third generation, son Mark running the company, we built close to 25,000 single-family homes and apartments. Since I took over, I've concentrated on multifamily rental and senior housing.
That's pretty impressive. So what led you to the point to where you decided, you know what, I think that this would be a great proposal? Like, what was the inspiration behind the idea of a $50 billion development of Belle Isle, which I think the goal is to also lease it from the city and then ultimately develop it to be what the vision is or what the proposal was that you said inside of the news clips?
Right. From history standpoint, during my lifetime, if you go and Google 1960, what was the world's richest city, the answer would come up Detroit, Michigan. Now, we're in a much different situation with the city. We are the poorest major city in this country. And during that period of time, I've been an observer of it. And as a real estate person, you're always looking at properties and looking at highest and best use is the phrase in our business. And Belle Isle is basically, as you know, is now a state park. It's the state's largest park, but it is really underutilized. And so there's an opportunity there to do something much better.
What's the process for this? Like, what is the timeline? Because obviously this is a huge proposal, and I'm pretty sure that it probably has to go through so many different channels of approval from the city to the state. I know that one of the things that you said was that there was no proposal for any public taxpayer dollars to be spent on this, which I'm assuming that would be even more enticing for the state because the state spends money to maintain this park and it is being underutilized, in my opinion. What would be the process and how long would it take if in fact this is something that did go through? What would that look like?
Well, the approvals to do the country's first special economic zone would need to perhaps start in DC. So we will need
in DC,
Washington DC. Right? So we would need their approval to implement the special economic zone. So it would have to be statutes approved by the House, the Senate, and signed by the President. On the local side, we need the concurrence approval of city government. So that would be city council and the mayor, or if there were, let's say, pushback on that, a voter referendum would suffice also. We feel that the DC approvals and the local approvals are the first to concentrate on. And if we can get those two levels of approval, the state will follow through and do their enabling legislation, which require be passed in the House, the Senate, and signed by the governor. So there's a lot of approvals that we need for sure. And we're working hard on getting them.
What about timeline? Like, what would be the estimated timeline? Let's say if everything went well, everybody participated, all things went swimmingly. What would be the timeline that you would say you would break ground if, in fact, this is something that went through?
I think we can set as a realistic goal to accomplish this during the current administration in DC. So we're talking a couple,
really,
2.5 years to go through what we say is the entitlement process. As we are getting traction on that process, and before we actually get to the point of full entitlement, we would start the process of planning, hiring the great site planners and architects and the engineers and so forth, the people who would be on the design side. But if we can get that done in, let's say, during the next 2.5 years, that's I think a doable goal. I can't say for sure we're going to get it, but perhaps it'll bleed over to the following administration and we continue to work on it.
What about city politics, state politics? I know that obviously, we see that it's a governor's race that's about to take place. Mike Duggan, who was the mayor of Detroit, is now running for governor of Michigan, and that's starting to heat up. I started to see a lot of advertisements during a lot of sporting events of different people that's throwing their hat in the ring and things like that. And then obviously we have our new mayor and Mary Sheffield here in Detroit. How much is that going to play a role, and who gets elected, who is in certain roles? And do you see that as an obstacle or an opportunity?
Well, generally, folks running for office are avoid controversy. So I don't expect Mayor Duggan or the other candidates running for governor to take a position on this issue at this time. The key is to generate at the local Detroit level interest that then they will observe, and if they think it will benefit them on the vote side, they will get on board. Perhaps, Anthony, you're aware of this major poll we had done at the end of November by the Mitchell Research and Communications. We commissioned the poll because we figured that on the local side, getting Detroiters will be very difficult. People will say, we like it as it is, we like the park, we don't want to see change, and pride, don't take away our jewel. So we had this poll commission, and we were shocked in a good way that the poll indicated among Detroiters that there was a favorability, a net 41% of the favorables minus the unfavorables, and a total of 68% approval by Detroiters. We also commissioned, as part of the poll, all of the Michiganders. The support was still there at the Michigan level, more undecided because many people in Michigan aren't even aware of Belle Isle. But there was support at the Michigan level too, and probably because of the fact that, the state is now funding the maintenance of Belle Isle, and they would be relieved of that.
Do you have an idea of how much the state spends on Belle Isle? I'm not familiar with that on an annual basis.
Yeah, the best estimate we have is about $11 million a year they spend. I'm not sure if that includes the state police protection or not.
Really?
Yeah, 11 million is the number that we've been told.
Wow. Okay, so basically you would allow for that to basically go back in the state coffers, right, and then at the same time be leasing it from Detroit. Here's one of the things, because I was asking people in the city, what would they want for me, want me to ask you in this conversation? And one of the things that they were asking me is why Belle Isle and why not some other part of the city, and choosing that to develop?
Well, that's a great question, and I've been asked that question many times. So Belle Isle is slightly less than 1,000 acres, and if we're going to convince the people in DC to do this, one of the say compelling arguments is that this Belle Isle and the vision I have for it would provide a laboratory, a sort of social laboratory for how to have a successful enterprise, a successful government, a successful community. So you're not going to do that with 50 acres, very small. It would be inconsequential. We're fortunate to have an island that's right in the middle of an international river where the majority of our country's trades right across this river. And it's 1,000 acres is a good size. Now to go and assemble 1,000 acres in Detroit, in the mainland of Detroit, is impossible. And not to get too technical, but few years ago, the state passed an act which prohibited condemnation of property for private purpose. So if you're trying to assemble 1,000 acres in the inside the mainland of Detroit, where Detroit was primarily 30-foot lots, and now has many different title holders, probably many you can't even find them because they just can't through succession and death and all that. It would be impossible to do that. So Belle Isle is a single title holder, which is the city of Detroit. That is possible.
Yeah, it seems like I've watched the acquisition of properties to ultimately build the Gordie Howe Bridge, which has yet to open, and it's going to be opening up soon. I've seen the evolution of downtown because I went to school down here, Cass Technical High School, born and raised in the city. I've been catching a Hamilton bus up and down 7 Mile and then down into downtown. And so I've seen the changes in Greektown. I've seen the changes as far as Little Caesars Arena getting built, because obviously that's right up the street from Cass Tech. And the amount of time that it took to acquire that land to ultimately build that arena, and then the participation of different people like the Illich family, Dan Gilbert, Rocket Mortgage, so on and so forth. The city has evolved a lot. With that being said, I see the Hudson's Tower, right? And I know that the Edison Hotel is about to open up soon into 2026, beginning of 2027. And then they have 96 units that are being sold that's on top of it, obviously ranging anywhere from 600,000 to 3 million. So those are going to be prime, premier, ideal spaces that are going to be acquired. Is that something that you pay attention to in order to better understand what the market is going to be, so that you'll know if it'll be logical to continue to spend this type of money and resources, not only lobbying, but also developing a Belle Isle, which, estimated is supposed to hold 50,000 people, once all of the development is put together?
Yes, what's happening in the areas you mentioned is very important to keep track of. And I think we all know that the downtown area of Detroit in the last 20 years has just gone from a low point to really, really nice now. But as far as doing a comparable, as far on this idea, I look to places like Singapore, Hong Kong, and Dubai, Shenzhen, China. Those are the major economic development spots in the world that we can emulate. So what's happening in downtown Detroit is great, but that's the downtown area we call it the 7.2 square miles. But Detroit is almost 139 square miles. So we have to have something that's really compelling to bring people in order to have a spillover effect for the 130 remaining square miles of Detroit.
It seems like a tall task. That's a big number, $50 billion. Partnerships, what does that look like? Like, how do you get, I know, for example, the development of the Hudson's building on a much, much smaller scale, obviously, compared to this $50 billion number, that they had to get strategic buy-in, General Motors, several different people that's coming into the area. You see the Apple store that's recently opened up. What does that look like as far as partnerships? And do you need buy-in from outside partners or people that are committing into the city in order for this thing to take off?
Well, I'll get into the details of the structure of the island, which demonstrate the fact that this would be successful financially. But the other thing to keep in mind here is we want to partner with the other folks who are doing great things in Detroit. So the Rocket Mortgage folks are leasing up office space. Belle Isle, in the Belle Isle vision, is largely residential. I will have some office, but what we plan to do is to coordinate with the Gilbert folks so that we don't compete with them. That if our folks on Belle Isle have an office in Hudson's building or somewhere in 7.2, that'd be fine. But the whole economic effect here, bringing huge amounts of investment capital into Belle Isle, there'll be room for everybody. So the office space in Detroit, downtown Detroit, the office space on Belle Isle will all be leased up without a problem, I'm sure of that.
Have you received any pushback, opposition up to this point as far as what you're proposing? Because it almost seems like anybody that I've asked and I said, well, what is the drawback? Because I'm in favor of it. I think that it would be absolutely awesome. Obviously, it'll be beneficial for the state, beneficial for the city financially, but also I think that it brings more visibility and it continues the growth of what we see happening here in Detroit and downtown in general. But when I talk to people, a lot of people are in favor of it, and then other people have like a nostalgic thing, like, oh man, I'm used to going to Belle Isle and running in the morning and stuff like that. Have you really seen any real opposition from people when it comes to this proposal for Belle Isle?
Right now, we're early in the process. The first news release on this was only perhaps 2 or 3 weeks ago. An article in the Detroit News by Michael Wrights talked about it. Then after that, I've been on interviews on the TV stations and so forth. So, of course, we've had some opposition, let's say from the Conservancy, Belle Isle Conservancy, for instance, and their mission is to conserve what's there, not to make change. I understand that, but we've not had any direct opposition from the leadership, the general leadership of Detroit. Probably they're waiting to see what kind of reaction there is from Detroiters, is my guess.
When you think about because I mean, essentially people would be living on Belle Isle, right, which is like, for me, growing up in the city, it's like mind blowing to think that you would ever be able to live on Belle Isle, right? What does that look like? Because I know that the proposal was that you're not interested in taking any kind of, dollars or taxpayer dollars in order to get this thing done, right, which then that means that you set the prices, right? You determine, what goes in, and there's not any kind of requirement from the city or the state that you got to have affordable housing or anything like that. What does that look like as far as like, the population and how many people actually live there? Is that 50,000 people would live there, or 50,000 people would usually congregate on the island at any one time?
The proposal is that there would be 50,000 people who would be residents. They would have to live there to have the benefit of living on Belle Isle. So they would have to live there a majority of the year to qualify. The infrastructure costs to build the infrastructure on the island, I'm talking about the sewer and the water and the paving. I envision a monorail for mass transportation, and we will try to make this a walkable city with some off-site major parking deck for residents' cars. To pay for the infrastructure, we are going to have to charge a fee. It won't be inconsequential. We don't have hard numbers yet for people to come to live on the island. But the advantage, or the reason they want to do it, is the tax and regulatory structure, similar to these other spots in the world that have been successful. We will model Belle Isle after them, after Singapore and Dubai and others. And the taxation structure is aligned with human incentives. If you want people to work, don't tax work. If you want investment, don't tax investment. The tax that we would impose in order to run the city would be a land value tax. But we would not be taxing the building improvements on Belle Isle. So we don't want to disincentivize people to go vertical. And the thought here is that government doesn't really bear the risk or in the building itself. So let's say you have a building or you have a home and it burns down. the government doesn't step in and rebuild your house, even though you've been paying taxes on that in the normal scheme of things. You bear that risk, where your insurance company bears the risk, and you're paying the insurance premiums. So that's the land value tax, variation tax, and that would run the city, and then there would be a excess revenue which we would share with Detroit and with Michigan.
So it's kind of like a city within a city, like it's its own city. And in a sense, I kind of look at it because, you know, we have two cities that's within Detroit. You got Hamtramck, and then you got Highland Park. So Belle essentially would be its own entity, essentially, that is being leased from the city of Detroit, which means would that also mean that would have its own taxes aside from the cost of what it takes to get back and forth on the island itself?
Yes, yeah. Have its own tax structure. It would have its own government structure as far as administration and so forth. Yeah, but it would still be part of Detroit, still be part of Michigan, still part of the U.S.
I mean, it sounds very, very interesting. And I see where the inspiration comes from as far as Singapore and different parts of China and things like that. What do you see as, like, when it comes to people moving onto that island? Because I'm envisioning it got its own fire department. I don't know if it got its own security and police department, you know, because you're talking about 50,000 people. That's a lot of people. Right. Do you think that your vision is too grand, or do you think that it just makes sense and that if you build it, the people will come?
Well, getting back to the public safety, Belle would have its own police, its own fire. That's just from a response time aspect that way. I firmly believe that we will attract people from all over the world. And one of the visions I have here, and by the way, and I've written a book which went public in February, went for sale, and I highly recommend your readers purchase it because it outlines in detail the vision exactly what it looks like. But one of the, I'd say, the hooks to attract international attention is Belle would be based upon a brand new Formula One racetrack. As first, the history of racing in Belle Isle is spotty. This would be a built from scratch racetrack, and that will bring Detroit and Belle Isle into international attention. So all we need to do, and with 50,000 people, all we need to do is sell about 20,000 residencies, and you average 2.5 people per resident. So
that's impressive.
Yeah, so selling 20,000 residencies when you're marketing in Detroit, you're marketing Michigan, but you're marketing all over the world, I think it will be, I hate to use the lapse into sports metaphors, but I think it would be a slam dunk.
Is there a vision for price? I know this is early. I know this is probably, I just want to ask a question and then you can say yes or no, or we're not there yet. Price point, like what does that look like to live on an island? If you were to give a general overview of the average net worth or what it would cost to live there, what does that look like?
Well, that's a great question. I firmly believe that we need to have on Belle Isle an affordable component to it. In my business, in the low-income housing tax credit business and so forth, one of the standards that have been used often is to have the 20% affordable in the total mix. I would apply that principle to Belle Isle. So 20% would be set aside at a very, very reasonable entry number, and we would be trying to attract folks who, I want to call them the emerging doer class. So these are people, probably could be younger people for the most part, who are coming up in their career and they have something to offer that's special. They may be in construction trades, skilled trades, perhaps chefs, artists, so forth. So folks that will bring a culture to Belle Isle, I think that's important to do.
So, Mr. Lockwood, why not just also ask for taxpayer money if we setting aside or not even setting aside, but targeting a 20%, because we want balance, right? You want parity, you want balance, you want a mixture of people of high net worth, upcoming people in their careers that's going to be awesome, that's looking to stay in the city. I think that for the city for a long time prior to maybe within the last 5 to 10 years, there's kind of sort of been a brain drain in which people would come, that was born and raised here, that were, great people and had a very great career ahead of themselves. Sometimes they will leave and go to other cities, things like that. So why not ask for taxpayer money or state money if we are doing kind of sort of a mixed use, and making it a little bit more equitable or having more parity as far as the net worth or a broader range of people that make a certain type of money that lives there.
Well, we've engaged a major lobbying firm in Detroit, in D.C. to work on the issue as far as getting federal approval. And as we sit with these folks and talk about the fact that we can do this privately with no government money, they say, well, this is a great selling point. If we don't have to go to the taxpayer, we can get this thing done. If we have to ask for a subsidy or ask for huge grants or funding from the federal government or others, it reduces the chances of getting the entitlements that we need.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about, do you see any risks? Because it seems like you in particular would have to have a lot of skin in the game. And considering all the things that you've done from a business perspective and your success, this seems like this would be your biggest undertaking yet. And I'm, the risk versus reward. That's the part that I'm really curious about. How do you see that? And is it worth the risk? Because, and let me just add this in there. I think that in order for you to do this, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have to genuinely have a love for the city. You have to genuinely want, to see a better vision and to continue to grow the city the way that it's been growing. Is it worth the risk versus the reward that comes along with it? Because even from a financial perspective, you've been successful for a long time. I don't think that it's just about the money for you.
Well, that's a great question. I've been asked that, why are you doing this? And this certainly would be the biggest project that I've been involved in. In fact, it would be, I'm told, the single biggest private investment project ever in the country. So this is a big deal. When I look at Belle Isle and as the opportunity, and I look at Detroit as the need, the marriage of the two just makes so much sense. It's become a passion for me. It occupies my thinking all the time. Whether I personally make any money, I don't care about it. But I really want to see it done for Detroit, bring it back, and for Detroiters. The spillover effect of the capital coming to Belle Isle, the spillover effect into across the river would be huge. I have a plan which I did a plan for that area across the river, which I named Jefferson because of the major road that runs through it, where folks who come to Belle Isle from all over the world who have a business, let's say a product that they have been building somewhere else, whether it be in South America or Asia or Africa or whatever, and now they want to enter the pretty much the center of the world's largest economy and do their product in this country. The manufacturing takes up too much space. So they're going to have to go across the river into the mainland to build their factory. So there's a tremendous amount of unused available land across the river. So
let me ask you a couple more questions. I look at and I study different cities throughout the United States of America, what's happening, where people are going, where they're migrating to. And obviously I try to separate it by region. So of course you have the South, which is massive. I think that Florida and Texas are their own entities. And then obviously you also have Atlanta, but then you have New York. And I think that a lot of people over in New York are starting to move down to Florida. And then California is kind of its own entity, and then you got Vegas out there. But then also along with that, you have a lot of taxes that comes along with California. No taxes in Florida, Las Vegas, or Nevada. It seems like a lot of people are setting up residences in Nevada. Chicago is now losing their team. The president of the Bears has said that they basically choosing between Arlington Heights and Hammond, Indiana. Is it also beneficial to do it at this time? Because unfortunately, we are in America, but the states compete with each other. Is it the perfect time to also propose this, considering everything that Chicago was going through? Because from my estimation, it looks like Chicago was on the path that Detroit used to be on before they filed for bankruptcy, whereas Detroit has had 11 consecutive quarters of a budget surplus. Is this the perfect time to do this? Because it seems as though Chicago is not competing for businesses and residences in the same way that Detroit is.
Well, you bring a very good point as far as looking at the broader picture. When we're in DC, one of the other, say, questions we get asked by the DC folks is why would Detroit get this special economic zone? Why favor Detroit? And the answer to that is this could be a template for other legacy cities like Chicago, you mentioned, or Cleveland, or St. Louis. And if they have a piece of property that's of appropriate size, they could do the same thing, modeling their structure after Belle Isle.
Let me ask you one final question. It's a personal question.
Okay.
What is your day like? From the time that you wake up and to the time that you decide that you want to put your head down on your pillow, what is your day like?
Well, I have a wonderful home office, which I'm in right now. It has all that I need as far as the computer equipment and so forth. So my commutes, which used to be 20 minutes to our main office, is now 20 steps. So it's great. I have my day is discussing strategy, meetings. Right now, since the Belle Isle thing became public about 2 weeks ago, getting a tremendous amount of interview requests. So the day is comprised of answering questions, answering emails, organizing the support, and it's just a busy day. I have an associate named Joe Milligan, a great guy, a great strategic thinker, and he and I are full-time on this. So I guess my day starts at 7 in the morning, and it goes till the Red Wings are on and watch them.
What do you work weekends?
Oh, 7 days a week.
Really?
Oh yeah.
All right, now I don't feel so bad.
I'm not saying that every day is full either.
Yeah.
It's something that we can't punch the clock on.
When is the last time you took a vacation?
February for a week in Florida.
For who?
A week in Florida in February. Get out of the weather.
Do you plan for your vacations, or do you just get burnt out and say, you know what, I got to get out of here for a week?
I tend to plan, so I plan ahead. So,
okay.
And, I try to include other family members on these vacations. I have 3 children. They're adults, and I have 4 grandchildren.
Wow,
that's
yep. All right, here's my final question. What do you want, because I'm all in on pitching this.
Okay.
I would love to see this come to fruition. I'm a heavy advocate for the city myself. I could live anywhere, and I decided to stay in the city, and I love the city. And so, I push Detroit and its benefits and the growth of it in any way that I can. What would you like for Detroiters, or not even just Detroiters, people outside of the city, that have an interest in the city, or people that are in the city that have an interest in this project, and they just don't have enough information to be able to, communicate it to their friends or their family, what would you want them to know about this project?
Well, I would want them to become knowledgeable on the vision. And this may sound like a cheap plug, but I encourage them to buy the book. The book is, just in summary, is the master plan for Belle Isle. His name in the book is Aaron Frazier. He gets reacquainted with a high school buddy they had not been to the area for decades. So the two of them are together for over 3 days. Darren explains to his friend Joe about the city. It's a vision, almost a book visual. And the book is half policy and half like tourist bureau. What Detroit could look like. Hydroplane races coming back, the monorail and how the beautiful view of the monorail going around the island. All the things that could happen here in Detroit, given the opportunity. So I encourage folks to buy the book. You can go to belleisle-freedomcity.com and learn more about the vision there and buy the book. The book's reasonable. You buy it on Amazon at a discount. But we generally have to spread the word. So let's say if you want to help with Anton, I encourage you to do so, perhaps getting some other guests on or putting our team in touch with people that you think are influencers. That would be terrific. Right now, we're getting the word out. And one of the things to keep in mind is that we don't plan to take the entire Belle Isle and turn it into a city. We plan to keep part of it as a park, make the park be smaller, but better. And maybe improvement, we're going to add some improvements, but it will still be fully accessible, just like it is now for folks going on the island or off the island. And one of the feedbacks I've gotten from, let's say, the objectors is, well, we always had our family reunions on Belle Isle, and so that's an important point. And part of my plan is to build a family reunion center in the park area that's going to remain, that would be usable 12 months out of the year. That would be something that would be terrific.
I have one more question because I just thought about it.
Okay.
But I think that before I ask that question, I think that the island is incredibly underutilized. Obviously, most of the time you can only use it, 4 or 5 months of the year, the amount of time that you can drive a motorcycle.
Right.
And I think that this is a phenomenal plan. I would love to see it come to fruition. Last question, do we need regional support? And when I say regional, historically, there has always been kind of a butting of the heads prior to Mike Duggan getting into office of Macomb County, Wayne, and then Oakland, and then obviously Livingston and all of the other stuff. But they've been working together, whether you're talking about water, whether you're talking about the DIA, but it seems like there's been a lot more support from different counties working together because a rising tide lifts all boats. Do you need to convince other people outside of Detroit or outside of Wayne County to also support this in order to get more traction for it so that we can actually get this thing up and running?
Well, let's say the head buddy you referred to is oftentimes based upon millage disputes. Want to pass a millage to support something that's in Detroit, asking Macomb and Oakland and Wayne to support that. Because of the fact we would not need any outside government money, that would not be an issue. And the spillover of having, by the way, our calculation is the net worth on the island would be a quarter trillion dollars. When you have that concentration of wealth, the effect on Macomb, Oakland, Wayne, state of Michigan, it would be tremendous. I don't see any objection to those other areas because of the fact they would not have to be paying for it.
Mr. Lockwood, You know I'm gonna order this book immediately, and I'm gonna probably have it read within 2 or 3 days.
Okay, my order 2 extra for your friends. Okay.
Okay, cool. I really do appreciate you for giving me a little bit of your time. When I get more questions, I'll probably petition for you to come back on. But I think that you are doing phenomenal work. I appreciate your love and support for the city, and also love and support for the platform. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me, Anton. That's been very kind of you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend.
Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rod Lockwood. Great conversation. I learned a lot. So much insight, so much opportunity. I'm incredibly optimistic about the city, about what the possibilities are in the city. I'm going to read the book and give you guys the cliff notes, and then I would like for you guys to read it for yourself, but you know I'm gonna do my own breakdown. I like to break it down from a C student's perspective, but it's a great opportunity, and I think that it can be a blueprint. And if you've seen the development and the evolution of the city, in which I've been telling you guys about it for a long time, the investment opportunities are huge. It's huge. It's massive. A lot of people don't know it yet. A lot of people don't see it yet. You need people like Mr. Lockwood to be a visionary, to kick it off. And I also think that he has a passion for this city because he doesn't need to. Obviously, he's already doing well on his own. But, you know, to do something or to take on a project this huge and also spend an extraordinary amount of time petitioning, pushing, getting feedback from the residents in the city, I think that it's a great thing. I think it's a phenomenal opportunity. And I look forward to it. Let me read some of y'all super chats and see what y'all saying inside of the chat. Great interview. Definitely reading the book. Somebody says, now I miss Michigan. Great interview. Got to do more. Excited for Detroit. This is awesome. We back, baby. We on the way. Excellent. I see the congratulations, the hand claps. That's love. Fantastic conversation. So it looks like y'all like Mr. Lockwood. So I'm gonna have him back on at some point. Great interview, AD. Somebody said I got it. Yeah, you got to get here, Imani. It's a great city. A lot of people don't even realize it. It's a cosm that is about to be developed. That's about to be up and running. A lot of people don't know about the DIA. DIA is awesome. I go pretty regularly to the DIA because if you are a Wayne, Macomb, or Oakland County resident, it's free for us. So I go to the DIA. A lot of y'all can get a date night at the DIA. It doesn't cost you any money. Yeah, man, it's going to be awesome. I think that it's great, and I think that all of the feedback is great. Let me read some of these super chats. To answer your question about the festival from earlier, yes, it's multicultural. It's going to be all walks of life. Very few YN, says TL4. DJ Ace Production says AD is slowly honing his journalism skills. I've been doing interviews for years now. Am I getting better? Y'all like my questions? Would you go to the R&B Raymond and Brown tour? Chris Brown and Usher just announced. Only if I can sit in the suite. I don't want to, spend all them. I don't want to be on the floor no more. Only if I can get in the suite. What's the estimated cost for the residents? Well, that's to come. So we very early in the process. As I get more information, I'll actually share it with you guys. Way Report says, good segment and interview, Anton. You can tell you're talking to a rich man because he hasn't bothered investing in a mic or a better camera. He's just using whatever came built into his computer. TL410 Gaming says, I sent the video to your email, AD. Okay, I appreciate it. Just got here, but Anton, when you get to billionaire status, don't forget me. No, you're going to get there before I am. Mr. Lott says, always putting on for the city. I'm inspired. Thank you, Mr. Lott. Thank you for the $100 super chat. I appreciate you, my friend. I appreciate you. All right, what do y'all want to cover next? What do y'all want to cover next? We got a lot to cover, lots going on all across the United States of America. Let me see. There's while we here, let me share my screen with you guys really quickly. That was a great interview, great conversation. I want to get into this part of the conversation also. I want to share this with you guys. Since we on the money, we might as well stay on the money. They say that some Americans are refusing to pay federal taxes in protest against the government. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Some Americans are protesting the war in Iran and President Trump's domestic policies by putting their money where their mouth is, as part of a call to sit out of paying federal taxes this year.
I'm Rachel, and I'm not paying my federal income tax this year.
It's time that we stop paying our taxes.
Tax Strike 2026. Spread the word.
On social media, people saying they'd rather put the money into a savings account, donate it to a charity, or simply keep it for themselves. Anything instead of handing it over to the federal government. It's called war tax resistance, a type of protest that's been around in some form since the colonial era, spiking around the Vietnam War when folk singer Joan Baez famously refused to pay 60% of her taxes, reportedly leading the IRS to file a lien against her. Lawyers and accountants say following in her footsteps could land you in big trouble, but advocates say interest is now surging again.
Before the invasion of Gaza, we would typically have 40,000 unique users visit our site on an annual basis. This past January, we had the most visits to our website that we've ever had, over 110,000 unique users.
Lincoln Rice leads the National War Tax Resistance Coordinating Committee. The anti-war group has been around since the early 80s. It just recently held its largest ever training on just how to resist.
We offer War Tax Resistance 101 trainings. It'll cover the legal method, which would be essentially putting yourself in such a position as not to owe taxes.
The IRS tells us measuring the size and scope of this type of protest is not feasible only a month into the war. For some, it might mean pulling legal levers to lower their tax bill. For others, it goes a step further.
Essentially, we're going to strike. We're striking on taxes.
Neetu Sharma says she decided this year to stop withholding federal taxes from her paycheck.
Resisting is a privilege, and not everyone can resist in the same way. So having options and still being able to take action was great.
Her reason, she says, is where her tax dollars are going, even before the war with Iran started.
We were sending a lot of funding and arms to other countries, instead of taking care of the people at home.
While it's impossible to track exactly where your individual tax dollars go, last fiscal year, the Treasury says the federal government collected about half of its revenue from individual income taxes. About $900 billion went to defense, according to the Office of Management and Budget. It's the government's fifth biggest expense behind other big ticket items like Social Security, Medicare, interest on the national debt.
All right, so let me give my assessment on this. I have been sitting on this article and this story for probably the better part of 2 or 3 days. You know why? Because Anton is not the one. Look. It's a lot of things that I have opposition to. Like verbal, very transparent. Listen, this is what I don't like. I don't like. However, them alphabet boys is probably my worst nightmare. Honestly, when you get money, and when I say money, I'm talking about real money. When you really get money, the thing that probably you lose sleep over the most. And I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not exaggerating. The internet is the internet. Like, we genuinely don't care as much about the internet as people think that we do. I'm keeping it 100 with you. Shout out to Just Montina. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm going to read the super chat shortly. The thing that you lose the most sleep over, the most, is always going to be taxes. I promise you. If you don't want to fret over taxes, just be regular. Keep a regular everyday job. Go and get your withholding taken out of your check. Don't open up any businesses. Don't do none of that type of stuff. The thing that you are going to be losing sleep over the most, I mean, cold sweats, nightmares, all of that stuff. I don't think that there's a day that goes by in my life that, you know how they say that people think about sex at least 6 to 7 times a day? Like, that's really a thing. Like, it's an amount that you can count that you subconsciously just cross your mind about certain things like sex. People think about sex this amount of times a day. People think about food this amount of times a day. Some people, depending on your habit, you think about gambling, you thinking about whatever, drugs, whatever, right? Going to the bathroom. I don't think that there is a day that goes by in my life that I do not think about taxes. Not one day that goes by in my life that I don't think about it. Honestly. Real talk. Like, I could not like it, but it's not something that I'm going to protest against openly. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, it is. I don't know a person that has resources, that has money. I know bag chasers that I've gotten rich, and you know what the thing that they text me on most of the time? Hey man, I need another tax strategist. Hey man, I need this, I need that. Honestly. It's just not a fight that I'm willing to openly have. It's something that you have to endure through. And so for these people to be waging this type of war, I actually had seen somebody on social media that said, you know what, I'm going to withhold. And she said it openly. She didn't do it silently. She didn't do it quietly. She said it openly, like, I'm not going to pay for that. And I was thinking to myself, I'm not even doing a reaction video to this. I'm not even going to do a reaction video to this. I don't even want to talk about it. It's not even something that I'm willing to have a conversation about. I filed that video away. I didn't even want that as a part of my algorithm at all. Crazy, insane. When it comes to these cities, I think that we are overly taxed. If I could pick any single issue in this country, I think that taxes are out of control, because I ain't even just talking about income taxes or anything like that. I'm talking about all taxes, property taxes. I'm fighting with a city here in Michigan right now because I bought a property, and I bought that property in 2025. I bought it last year, August of last year. I bought it at a tax auction. The city come back to me and they say, this is the type of stuff, when I say I'm worried about taxes all the time, I'm talking about all of them. The city comes to me and they say, hey, listen, this property that you bought, you owe an additional $28,000 on. I said, who? They said, you. I said, when? They said, yesterday. I said, nah. That's impossible. That can't make sense. No way. They say, yeah, you owe an additional amount of money on it. I said, how? How was that a thing? They said, well, from 2024. I said, I bought it in 2025. They say, well, the person that owned it in 2024, this is the honest to God truth. I'm going to look for it right now. They said the person that owned it in 2024 had to get the home tore down on it before we wind up selling it in a tax auction. I said, that ain't got nothing to do with me. That happened before. Everything that I paid and all of the paperwork that I said that it is what it is. They said, well, we're going to have you come in. This is what they telling me. They said, we're going to have you come in and come through a hearing so we can assess whether or not we're going to still keep this on you. Because if we do keep it on you, then that means that we're going to tack it on to your property taxes. I said, get the hell out of here, bro. Real talk. I said, get out of here, man. Get out of here. You got to be kidding. So guess what I got to do? Now I have to go to a hearing for what they billed the owner before me that lost the property that I wind up buying it from that I was unfamiliar with. I kid you not, bro. I kid you not. That is the type of stuff that I have to deal with on a regular basis. On a regular basis, it's always something. Always something. It is always something they're gonna hit you with. It's just something. Where is it at? I don't even know if I can find it. Going through my emails right now, trying to understand it. And so you got to keep making more money. You got to keep making more money. Why do you got to keep making more money? Because they want more money. And somehow, some way, for whatever reason, they said that they want more money. And then you got to pay more property taxes. Even if you own your home, you still got to pay more taxes. It's just amazing, bro. It's amazing to me. Nah, I don't see it right here. I'd have to find it. I need to go and find it because I got people on that to take care of that. But my point is that, if I have any one single issue that I would have a problem with, it's like, we being overtaxed, property taxes, income taxes, all of this. And then y'all want to get the alphabet boys on y'all too? Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. That's the one thing that I'm just not interested in going back and forth with people about. I don't want to deal with it.
And other health spending. Sharma says her protest isn't about avoiding taxes altogether.
I'm still paying state taxes, and I believe state taxes are something that we should continue paying.
Are you worried at all about going to jail potentially?
I was at a point, the IRS does not have the manpower to go out and, audit every single person and look at who's not paying federal taxes.
Sharma believes her approach is legal, but experts say not paying the taxes you owe is anything but.
The law does not care what your motive is for either not filing, not paying your taxes.
The IRS and legal experts say avoiding your taxes could land you with a laundry list of penalties, including fees, getting your passport revoked, and in some cases, jail time.
If you were to offer any sort of legal advice to some of these protesters, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, push a candle through a paper plate and go to a vigil and sing. Don't refuse to pay your taxes. That will land you in prison.
So as this
look at all of these people.
Protest gains traction online, the real consequences may happen offline when taxes are due.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. You think I'm about to follow? Let me show you these people. You think I'm following her? Nope. Definitely ain't following him. Nope. Ain't following neither one of these people. I don't want no parts of what they got going on. Y'all fight that on your own. Have fun. Whatever y'all reasons are, leave me out of it. I don't want no parts. I don't want nothing to do with it. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. That's crazy, bro. Insane. Shout out to Kev. Kev says, I was going through some of your old videos. I didn't know you was as cool. I didn't know you was cool with my guy Bricks. Yeah, shout out to Bricks. Bricks is cool. Anthony, shout out to Anthony. I appreciate you. The Witch Doctor says, great interview, AD. Love the business talk. Huge opportunity for Detroit. I plan to be there on business in late May. Stay on your square, my dog. Oh, I'm chilling. Robert Sibley says, what are the best ways to get involved with my city to really bring change? I'm in a DFW. Is that Fort Worth? Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. And with the amount of new money coming in the area, I would like to be involved. I don't know. I don't know what you into. I don't know what your business interests are. I'm not sure what your business interests are. It just depends. Honestly, I just think that the best thing to do is just to invest in whatever it is that you have going on in your city. Anytime you invest, anytime you got money in the city, they want to hear from you. You got motion, you got leverage. You can start to have conversations. City council, going to the meetings, finding out what's going on. Yeah, absolutely. What else we got? Oh. Somebody asked me to cover this, so I got to cover this really quickly.
First family speaking out after she was found shot to death in Atlanta. Why they say she was targeted. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here on 11 Alive and streaming on 11 Alive Plus. I'm Faith Jesse.
And I'm Cheryl Preheim. We begin with a story you'll only see here on 11 Alive News. A rapper's family identifies her as the woman shot to death in southeast Atlanta.
That's right. 11 Alive's Chase Howell spoke to the family who believes she may have been targeted because she was pregnant.
According to the family of Qualisha Barnes, she was 14 weeks pregnant when she was shot 4 times in the face.
Probably because I know I'm worth a million.
You may know her by her stage name, S6E70.
The only Diddy in my city with a lit wrist.
But those closest to her know her as a daughter and a sister.
I know her as Qualisha. I know her as Lily. I know her as we in the same house, in the same bed. That's what I know her as. All that friend stuff, I don't care about none of that. That was my sister. That was my baby.
Give us the strength that we need to survive.
Hand in hand in prayer, the family of Qualisha Barnes asked God for strength while coming to terms with her senseless killing. And it's moments like this that are helping them deal with her death.
Generally, if you met Lily, you instantly loved her. And she was such a jokester, you know. She liked to laugh, and she always cracking jokes on me.
Barnes's mom, Francine Lopez Stewart, says her rap name fits her perfectly.
She loved makeup. She loved dressing up. She loved beauty. So, and she was a ditty.
But Barnes wasn't just a rapper. She was also an aspiring nurse.
She made the dean's list. She had like 2 more semesters to go. She was so proud of herself, and we were so proud of her.
As for what justice looks like, Lopez Stewart says seeing not just one person held responsible, but multiple, because she believes her daughter was set up.
If you instigate something that causes a murder, then you need some kind, you need something. You know, I think you need to go to jail too.
According to Barnes's family, she had been living in the metro Atlanta area for about 10 years. As far as the investigation to who may have killed her, well, Atlanta police says that's still under investigation. In Atlanta.
How do you, I got so many questions, bro. You was about to ask me about this. Well, the first thing that I have a question about is, before we even get to the actual crime itself, because a lot of people are telling me that she got shot in the head multiple different times because she was pregnant. Shot in the head multiple times because she was pregnant. So if y'all know that, right? If you know that, if you were shot because you were pregnant, then that means you know who the killer is, or you know who set her up. They say she a Detroit rapper. but you was in Atlanta for 10 years. I consider you an Atlanta rapper, and this is no disrespect. Actually, shout out to her. Grievances for the family or whatever. When somebody lives in a place for more than a decade, you there. That's your city right there. I don't look at it where you from. I look at it where you at. And if you are somewhere and you've been there for over 10 years, I say you an Atlanta rapper. You're not a Detroit rapper. You may have born and raised from Detroit, but that don't mean that you're a Detroit rapper. I think that you an Atlanta rapper. No? Am I off on that? So some people say, nope, nah, D folks never claim other cities, dog. Come on, man. Y'all got to stop that, bro. If y'all been in Los Angeles for the last 10 years, if y'all been in Atlanta for the last 10 years, if you've been in Houston for the last 10 years, you are a Houston person. You are an Atlanta person. You've been in the culture. You ain't even been here. This whole city has changed over the last 10 years. This ain't even the same city. This ain't even the same city no more. So wait. Are y'all telling me, because I see some people that agree and some people that disagree. I see some people that agree and some people that disagree. You're telling me that you can live in another place for the majority of your adult life, but you still that other place where you came from? Nah, I'm not going for that, bro. I'm not going for that. Somebody says she's there. Who cares where she's from? Well, it's a part of the conversation. It's not just, okay, so listen. All right, so let me report the dead part. Man, this is tough. I don't like to see this happening to anybody. I don't like the fact that she was killed, so on and so forth. Okay. So now we can't talk about nothing else? Why am I mentioning this? The reason that I'm mentioning the part of her being an Atlanta rapper is because it happened in Atlanta and it obviously happened around people that are also from Atlanta. So that means that Atlanta's culture is toxic. The reason why this is relevant is because if you really understand what's happening in Detroit right now, we on squash and beef. We not on everybody beefing, everybody on some op stuff. People get mad at people in Detroit for continuing to beef with people in Detroit. If it's somebody that's inciting beef right now, this is the reason why this is important. If it's somebody that's pushing for beef right now, or somebody that's clout chasing on some beef type stuff. Now, if y'all really in the trenches and there's some real issues that y'all need to work out, people gonna be like, man, I wish they could just come together. Man, I wish they could figure it out. Man, we need to focus on getting money. Man, we need to focus on this. That is what the city is on right now. And that's what I'm saying, that the culture is different. So if you've been in Atlanta for the last 10 years, then you on a probably different wave. Maybe your look, maybe your lingo, maybe the way that you talk and walk may be similar to what's happening in Detroit. But what the culture is like here is different than where it's like in other places. I would venture to say that Memphis got a completely different mindset on what they think about rapping and what their culture is like than it is in Atlanta. We off that. We about getting money. We not on no beefing and none of that type of stuff. We not on that right now. Now, that's not to say that people won't have problems. Everybody is always going to have problems. But the fact of the matter is that people are more pushing for a unity amongst people that are visible, that have and it ain't even just about the rappers. It's anybody that's visible in the city. They kind of push for that unity. Oh, no wonder. No wonder. Sorry, you wrong. I love Atlanta, but I'll forever be from Detroit. Nah. You an Atlanta dude, bro. You an Atlanta dude. At the end of the day, you Atlanta all day long. That's why y'all feeling some type of way, because y'all don't want to claim where you at. You don't really claim where you at. No wonder. Oh, That's why people feeling some type of way about the fact that I'm saying that if you've been in a place for more than 10 years, you really that type of person. Because y'all don't want to own it. You don't want to own the fact that you somewhere else, but you still want to claim that you here. You want the benefits of being from here and the clout, but you don't really want to be from here. You don't really want to be in the trenches with the people that's building up the city. You just want all of the benefits that come along with it. I see you. That makes sense now. Okay, I understand it. Nah, you an Atlanta dude, bro. You an Atlantean transplant. You an Atlanta transplant, bro. That's what you are. You an immigrant. You a migrant. You an immigrant. No, I'm right. I'm not off on this one. I'm right. You an immigrant. You went and you went over to a different city. No, hey, you taking it to no, you an immigrant. You're a migrant. You went to a different city. They don't really accept you. They say that you can't do the same thing that they do. Nah, dog. Tabby, that's the truth, bro. That's the truth. And then people want to say, oh, no, I'm from Detroit. We don't even know if you're really from Detroit. We don't know if you're really from Detroit. Let me see your yearbook. What's your yearbook, bro? Oh, you're not from Detroit. You from West Bloomfield. Okay, I see you. Yeah, y'all refugees, bro. Refugees. Y'all not from here. Or you may be from here, but you got to claim that. Where you at? Atlanta? Cool. That's where you at. If you in a place for longer than 10 years, you from that place. But to get back to her though, it is unfortunate. Whatever it is that happened to her is tragic. It happened from somebody that she knew, probably somebody else from Atlanta. The whole 9 yards. Absolutely, 100%. That's a fact. I ran into somebody in Vegas and they said, where you from, man? They say, you really from Detroit? I said, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm from Detroit too. I said, oh, yeah. They said, oh, yeah, but I moved out in the 90s. Hey, you ain't been here in 30 years. You not here. You ain't been here in 30 years, bro. No, yeah, I'm Detroit too. They started naming stuff. I said, bro, they tore that down a long time ago. Oh, they tore that down? Man, get out of here, bro. You ain't from here. You ain't no Detroit dude. You ain't been here in 30 years. You've lived the majority of your adult life in a completely different place, bro. You pay your taxes in a whole nother state and in a whole nother city. Get out of here, bro. You might be from here, but you not here. Like you got to claim where you at, bro. You've been paying your taxes somewhere else. You done built a family, built a home, and I respect that. You did what you got to do. But claim where you at. What are you talking about? When the last time you visited? Man, you ain't from. Get on out of here, bro. Somebody said you still, that's true. You still where you from. But when they say, look at the headline. It says pregnant Detroit rapper. How? I'm going to ask Room 9 tonight. She done lived in Atlanta 10 years, probably decided to become a rapper while she was in Atlanta. How was she a Detroit rapper? How? How? I just feel for her family, man. I hope that everything work out, bro. I hope that everything work out. It's unfortunate. It's so messed up, bro. It's so messed up. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. If I move to Miami, right? And let's say I've been creating content in Miami for the last 5 to 10 years. Am I a Miami-based content creator or am I a Detroit-based content creator? That's the question. Let me ask it again for the slow people in the back. If I move to Miami and I'm there for the next 5 to 10 years and I've been creating content and doing content there, am I a Miami-based content creator or am I a Detroit-based content creator? Let's use Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels had moved to Atlanta, right? Kevin Samuels was also trying to recruit other people to move to Atlanta. Kevin Samuels was from Oklahoma City. Was Kevin Samuels an Atlanta-based content creator or is he an Oklahoma City-based content creator? People recognize Kevin Samuels for being in Atlanta. Go to school down there, pledge down there, hanging out down there, getting money down there, establish all kind of stuff down there. Perfect. Gucci Mane was born in Alabama but was raised in Atlanta. People consider Gucci Atlanta. All of the rappers, they claim him. All of the people that say, yo, he put on for the map. When they say, who one of the kings of Atlanta, they say Gucci Mane. When they say one of the kings in Atlanta, they say Gucci. That's my point. When you spend an extraordinary amount of time in a specific place and that becomes home, that's where you are. That's what your base is. That's what I believe. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Did you see All-Star Junior shot NBA YB affiliates? Who's All-Star Junior? Listen, man, I'm going to be honest with y'all. If y'all think that I am going to be immersed in what all of these street dudes is doing, you got another thing coming, bro. Ain't no money in that. Mr. La says they got to put the airports in the IG bio to show that they got motion. Yeah, that's exactly what they do. They say DTW to MIA. Yep, that's exactly what they do. You are 100% right, Mr. Lot. Let me see something real quick. Tavi, y'all really want to stay? I sound old. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? I sound old. What does sounding old sound like? All right, so let's expand the conversation a little bit. Before I go on to the next story, let's expand the conversation a little bit, all right? What is the USPS story? If you move to the United States of America and you become an American citizen, but you were born outside of the country, right? Let's say you was born in a place and you moved here when you was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, right? And you wanted to becoming an American citizen and you got your papers and your documentation the right way. Are you an American or are you a Venezuelan? If you move over here from a different country and you wind up getting citizenship in this country and you are a legal American citizen in this country, are you an American or are you wherever it is that you're from? Oh, looks like we're going to have ourselves a little bit of an argument on room 9 tonight. Make sure that y'all tuned in. Looks like we're going to have a little argument on room 9 tonight. Yeah. No, Tabby. No, Tabby. No, Tabby. Nope. 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 Y'all want to try to make it out to be something that is not. Nope. Where's all of my people? I'm about to do a test. Hold on. Hello? Hey, love, what's going on? How you feel? You sound good. Yeah. Back in the mix. Yep, I got you. That makes sense. Everything is great. I can't complain, not even a little bit. What's the plan? What's on the docket? What we doing? He's running for Congress? Okay. 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 No, I got you. I got you. Okay. All right, yeah, that's cool. Put him in touch with me. Oh, you so sweet. You so sweet. Well, you know I love you. Yep. Yeah, you know I love you, girl. Anything you need, let me know, okay? All right, love. Absolutely. All right, bye. All right, let me find out. $89 Merc. Be careful. I don't even know why you want to play that game, 89 Merc. I don't even know why y'all do that. Like, why do you type that type of stuff and then why do y'all teeter the line? Why do y'all teeter the line? Anyways, we're going to have this conversation on After Hours tonight. Shout out to my dog, Chris Cunningham. He said, so if I understand you correctly, I lived in NY, born and raised for 37 years, moved to Dallas, paid taxes and tax. No, you're from New York, but you a Texas dude. You a Dallas dude. How long have you been in Dallas, and how long do you plan on being there? That's the question. That's the bigger question to determine who you are, right? Because see, I can go and live in Miami for the winter and come back to Detroit in the summer, spring, and fall. I'm still a Detroiter. How long do you plan on being there? Is that your permanent residence? And how long have you been there? That's the determining factor for if you're a Dallas dude or not. All right, we're going to have this argument tonight. I'm a Salvadorian, but I'm an American citizen. So you're an American. You are wherever it is that you spend the majority of your time at. All right, so let me see what else is happening. Hospice doctor, Americans. I don't even want to talk about this Haitian that bludgeoned the mom of 2 to death. Well, yeah, let's talk about it. Since we're talking about migrants from Detroit and Atlanta.
Captures the moment an illegal migrant allegedly murdered a woman with a hammer in.
Oh my God, I can't believe what the heck I'm watching right now. Yo, let me just say this before I even get into this. Police officers have some of the, I will never, ever. Y'all saw this on X? I'm not watching that, bro. I'm not watching that. I'm reluctant to even do this story right now. Yo. I couldn't be a police officer, bro. I just couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. I've seen some stuff in my life and I was just like, yo, I don't never want to see this type of junk again. That's insane. Did you see that? Did you see the motion? Let me show y'all for those of y'all that's not paying attention. Pay attention.
Gruesome video captures the moment an illegal migrant allegedly murdered a woman.
That's crazy. That is insane. Yo, number one, police officers have some of the wildest jobs ever because they be going to these crime scenes. They be having to review these videos. I can't even watch it. Yo, I know that it's probably on X. I can't watch it, bro. I can't watch it. That is insane. We don't have no regard for human life. Matter of fact, let me back up for a second. These people that's not even from here don't have no regard for human life. He looked like it looked like he got on blue jean shorts, Team Jordan shoes, probably got on a foreign jersey, like a You know how they be having on them soccer jerseys from a different country and stuff like that? And a backpack. That's the kit for a criminal that is not from here. They either selling purses on the side of the road or they doing some unscrupulous things and trying to murder people. That's insane, bro. That is insane. I can't watch that type of stuff no more, bro. I can't because the scenes are too gruesome. Why are these people here? How did they get here? Man, we got to get these people up out of here, bro. We do. We got to get these people up out of here. They different. Jorts and Team Jordan's facts. They're different, bro. They got a different way about them. They got a more savage way about them. They not like us. I know we try to make it seem like, oh, man, we need to accept more people. Man, you don't know these people. You don't know the type of gruesome they came up with. You don't know if they ate people before. You don't know if they killed somebody before and got away with it in a favela inside of their little nook and cranny in the world that they was in. You don't know nothing about these people. They over here bludgeoning people to death in a gas station. Just hit her right in the head with a hammer. Who does that? That's crazy.
With a hammer in broad daylight outside a Florida gas station while he left her to die in a pool of her own blood. The gas station clerk, who has not yet been publicly identified, was pronounced dead at the scene at the Chevron gas station in Fort Myers. According to the Department of Homeland Security,
he fit the profile. Yep, he fit the profile. He fit the profile. I'm keeping it. Listen, Linda. He fits the profile. Every single. No, don't tell me don't profile because I profile everybody. I profile white people. I profile liberals. I profile Asian people. I profile black people. And I profile Haitians too. Yes. They always got on some random shirt, some random shorts. And they're uncompromising. Like they have no emotion whatsoever. They always got a straight face no matter what they do. Yes, they do fit the profile. 100%. I know some, it's right up the street. There's some people that got a restaurant. They always acting like they don't understand what I'm saying and stuff like that. Like because they got a food truck and stuff like that. And they right up the street, and they got to be Nigerians. I think they're Nigerians. What is this? Yeah, they got to be Nigerians. And I just be looking like they not like us. They not like us. And I'm not saying that the people internationally is not dope because I know that it's not all people, but they bring their culture and they don't assimilate. They bring their culture and they say, this is who we are here. Who beating people with hammers? I bet you he got open-toe sandals on. I guarantee you he got open-toe sandals on. 1,000%. Either Team Jordans or open-toe sandals.
Department of Homeland Security, the alleged killer's name is Robert Dwashin. Court documents state that he provided a detailed confession of the murder, and in court on Wednesday, a detective revealed even more.
Did he specifically tell you that he went there to kill the victim in this particular case? He did.
Detectives say Dwashin had showed up to the gas station 2 days before the murder, where he was seen wearing the same clothes, a yellow graphic t-shirt and shorts that he...
What did I say they be having on? What did I say they be having on?
He was wearing on the day of the alleged attack. In the moments before the horrifying killing, Dwashin was spotted in the parking lot, holding a knife and a mallet, which he used to strike an SUV, which was reported by Gulf Coast News to be the victim's car. When she came out in response, he allegedly began to bludgeon the defenseless woman. DHS says Dwashin is here illegally. He entered the U.S. from Haiti.
That's a hardened criminal right there. That's a hardened, they skin be a little thicker than everybody else's skin. We got soft skin over here. We use Cocoa Radiant intensive care lotion. We moisturize, you know what I'm saying? We got a different type of, the black people over here, our skin is a little different. Even when we work hard, like we don't, our feet might be a little bit tougher, not as tough as theirs. Not as tough as theirs. They don't feel nothing on the bottom of their feet sometimes. They got a hardened skin, like it's almost like a callous face. Ain't no Teach Henley in this screen right now. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Ladies, get it for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but in order to get that extra boost of confidence, that ain't it right there. It's almost like they took glass and they said, put it on the front of their skin and was like, let's roll. Get that Teach.
In August of 2022.
Lips black and don't even smoke. Just
where they say a federal judge issued him order for removal.
Man, that ain't nothing but the devil right there. Yep. Uh-huh. My man Ubuntu over here bludgeoning people to death, beating on cars, hitting cars in the parking lot, and then hitting people in their face with a hammer.
But he was safe because of the temporary protected status that ran out in 2024. The 40-year-old has now been charged.
Nope, he ain't even got no shoes on. Look at it.
Protected status that ran out in 2024. The 40.
He ain't even got no shoes on. He don't have no shoes on. He don't have no shoes on. That's how you spot him. Hey, man, are you an American? 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 Let me see what you got. Oh, you ain't got no shoes on. Or you got them open-toe sandals on, even in the wintertime? Yeah. He don't have shoes on, nigga. I told you. Get them stupid feet out.
Year-old has now been charged with murder and criminal damage to property. In addition to Dwashin's reported confession, detectives revealed on Wednesday that he's also a suspect in a second case. ICE has put a detainer on the man and says he will be deported regardless
because they used to doing it in their own country.
Of the outcome of this brutal killing, according to DHS. No motive has been revealed for the brutal murder.
They used to doing that. They're used to participating in this way in their own country. They're used to it. They're used to bludgeoning people, getting mad at them, going back and forth. Honestly, I think that Africans and people in the Middle East have a similar mindset. At the very least, when it comes to women. Am I off? I believe that Haitians and Africans and Nigerians, I believe that they have a similar aggressive mindset when it comes to life. And you see that when they deal with their women. You see it when they deal with people. You see it when they deal with issues and problems, when they get mad at stuff. I honestly, they are very much the same person. They are very much the same person. You get you a Middle Eastern man, or you can get you a Haitian. It's the same person. One of them got oil. One of them look like they've been rolling over in oil. It's the same person, bro. And they bring their culture over here. Oh! No deodorant, feet out. They got the same sandals. Man, they all the same person, bro. They all the same person. I'm telling you, man. Listen, we are civilized people over here in the United States. We are civilized people over here in the United States. We have a code that we live by that you guys have not learned yet. Guys have not learned yet at all. All of them got the same sandals. Indians, Haitians, Africans, Arabic people, Chaldeans, they all got the same kit. Same sandals, same droopy look on their clothes. A lot of times they know they don't be fitted. It's the collars be drunk. The shirts don't just, it could be their size. It just don't fit right. It's just like, They all be eating the same food, same flies, same everything. Give me a, hey, what are you? I'm an Indian. Okay, give me a side of goop with that sweat and them flies, with a side of flies, and add some curry on it, and I'm good to go. It's all like they all impervious to bugs. Bugs for some reason don't bother them. They sit Indian style. Let me get a order of slop with some butter on it, some roaches and some flies, and give me a side of shavings from your feet on it with no gloves so that I can improve my immune system. With extra shavings on it. I'm telling you, bro. Like, you know another country you ain't never got to worry about me visiting. You ain't never got to worry about me going to India. I don't need to ever go to India. They all try to push their way into the same train. You can't go, you can't leave your daughter, or you can't let Heather, you can't leave any woman out past 4 p.m. or it's a possibility that the men is going to be gooking over her. Their eyes get big as soon as they see a woman. Don't matter if you're in an African country, a Haitian country, an Indian country, or a Middle Eastern country. Women can't go out at night. Women can't go out past 4 p.m. Am I lying? It's the same places all over the world. Women can't go out past like 4:15. That's the cutoff limit, or you might get snatched up and get used up. And if they can't find a woman, then they're going to find a goat. Now tell me I'm lying. Tell me which part of this that I'm lying about. Keep on telling me, oh my God, it's so great everywhere. You's a liar. You a liar, and the truth ain't in you. Let me tell you what it's like in other countries. You visit the tourist area. It's diabolical in all of the rest of these countries. It's eat, kill, or be killed. They drug running. They having sex with animals sometimes. Women ain't safe. Daughters ain't safe. There's no more virgins past the age of like 4. They sewing the girls up a lot of times, and they trying to figure out they don't have the technology, so they think that they can get rid of their AIDS by being with a little girl. Boy, you think it's so sweet out there, you wouldn't survive. Your little liberal gay self. Your little liberal sassy self will be eliminated immediately. They got automatic drafts. You automatically have to sign up to the military in some countries the minute that you turn a certain age. Always worshiping somewhere else. Always thinking that it's cool in another country. It ain't cool. It's oppressive. The weather be extra hot. Every country is messed up. The UK immigrants is taking over there. They soft as butter. Thailand, we can't tell the difference between a girl and a boy anymore because the only thing that they have is sex tourism. The only reason that they play soccer is because it's the only sport where you don't have to have any real infrastructure in order to play it. Because you got to actually put together a basketball rim and make it 10 feet and measure it. Nope, we just going to make us a net and we going to take our callous feet and we going to run around and we going to kick this ball because we can't even feel our feet anymore. Always worshiping something that you're not familiar with. You don't know nothing. You don't know nothing at all. It's bad all over the world. Everybody always worshiping another country. Boy, sit your little sassy ass. Is it Friday? It's Friday. Sit your little sassy ass down and make your oatmeal. Your little soft hands. You wouldn't survive in these other countries. They don't like you. You so sassy. I mean, I didn't want to go to another country. Sit down. Go ahead and get back to being the choir director at the local black church that Jamal Bryant is preaching in and act like you got some sense. Boy, in some of these countries, they have sex with animals. They don't mess around. They busting it down for a real one with animal butt. You don't want that. You ain't built to survive out there, boy. They do animal butt, goat butt. That's what they do, goat butt. And you think that you can survive next to a dude, he just got done busting down a goat. Nigga, you think he got any kind of love for you? He ain't even wash up afterwards. Ugh. Just wiped it off. Ugh. Anything they can find. Sheep, goat, you. I'm telling you. Oh man. Let me see what else is out here on the streets and the docket. Somebody said, don't knock it till I tried it. Nah, you on your own on that one, big dog. We straight on goat butt. Chicago police, California's trucking industry, college professors, 11 alive, FedEx driver. Oh, this is a good one. Yeah. I'm tired of looking at all of these people doing degenerate stuff. Let me see if I can find something good to talk about, something positive. Instead of looking at these monsters over here, not even supposed to be in the United States of America, doing bad things to worse people. Florida cost of living. We paying our taxes, big dog. We're not doing that. Let me see. California deputy ran over. Oh, yeah. Mom Donnie targeting white people. Yeah. Hold on. Where's it at? He did a speech where he was talking about white wealth distribution. I might have to go on X for this one because YouTube they not really. I gotta go on X. Give me a second. Let me work.
And removed DEI language from the racial equity report that you released this week. Why was that decision made, and do you support that decision?
So I want to be very clear. Our administration inherited a report that the prior administration had refused to release, a report that had been heavily diluted over many rounds of revisions. We took the time to strengthen this report to ensure that it was actually an accurate reflection of the city that we all love and know as our home, and to actually release this report within the first 100 days. Now, in this report, what we've seen, it's a report that is both coupled with a true cost of living report, is that the inequities in this city, the racial inequities, are stark. We are talking about findings that have shown that the wealth of a median white household in the city is more than $200,000, while that of a black household is less than $20,000. This is not an indictment of any one New Yorker. It is an indictment, however, of policies and politics that have persisted for far too long. Our commitment now is to act upon these findings, to do so in concert with New Yorkers' comments, as we've now opened a public comment period for the next 30 days to ensure that we have a city where we are reckoning with the long history of racism here and starting to act upon a framework that puts equity right at the center of it. Thank you.
Sure, but why remove the DEI language?
That is insane, bro. It's insane. So you're telling me that the mayor of New York is now going to punish people for making better decisions and making sure that he redistributes wealth and he addresses the equity in the city to make sure that they have parity, right? So if a black household has a net worth of $20,000, we don't care about the context. We don't care about how they got there. We don't care if, they made bad decisions. We don't care if he just got out of jail. We don't care if he got out of prison or whatever, right? If a black household has a net worth of $20,000 and a white household's net worth is $200,000, you're telling me that they're going to start targeting wealth distribution by having parity between the two so that they can equal it out. That is insane. That is one of the most insane things that I have heard in a long time. This is wild. This is insane. How is that not racism? How is that not racism? So you're going to take... All right, so let me ask another question. Let me revise this question. What policies, and if anybody, I'm going to give y'all an opportunity to speak on this. If anybody disagrees with me, let me drop the link in the chat. I always know that it's never going to be nobody that comes up that have anything to say. I just dropped the link in the chat for somebody. If you disagree with me on anything, I don't want your accolades. I'm not interested in you telling me that you rock with me. I know you rock with me because you supporting the platform and we on the same platform, and I love you. I love all of my people who love me. If you disagree with me on anything, including this, you are more than welcome to hit the link to share with me exactly what you disagree with, and I'll even do you one better. As I know that everybody tries to act like Anton, I can't access him or whatever. You don't even have to be on camera in order to disagree, because I know there's some people that's at work. I'm conscious of that. I know that some people may be on the job and they might have their work uniform on. I'm conscious of that. I'm gonna accommodate you on that. If you disagree with me on anything, including that this what he's saying right now, and the redistribution of wealth or trying to create parity, then you are more than welcome to hit the link and help me to understand it. But I don't understand how we're allowing for this type of person to be a politician and think that this is not racist. This is exactly what the definition of racism is that you're using power to then exact revenge and or remove rights from somebody to be able to do what they want to do when they want to do it, or run up a bag in the same playing field. I'm about to call in and tell you to stop making jokes, making you laugh so hard. How come I don't see it? It's pinned to the top of the chat. If anybody disagrees with me, you're more than welcome to hit the pin at the top of the chat and tell me that you disagree with me. I'm going to take it like a G on the chin. It ain't even got to be an argument. I'm not even going to argue with nobody. I'm not going to argue with nobody. I just want to know what y'all thoughts are. Hold on. Let me make sure that... Mario, what up?
How you doing, AD?
Chilling. You want to be on camera or no?
Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't matter.
All right. What do you disagree with me about?
Now, you said anything, correct?
It's got to be something meaningful, something real.
Of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the conversation you were having yesterday on Room 9 and even yesterday on the Millionaire Morning Show regarding the switch up on Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people are switching up, but I do think it's very American and very real to say, hey, I'm disappointed in you. And because we know that you usually say exactly what you mean, and now that we're in the predicament that we are in, you said this 12 months ago, you ran on this, and now we're in a different situation. I think that's what people change. Yeah, they do. And I think he's been strong-armed into doing this. I don't think this is something that he's wanted to do.
So what part am I wrong about? Be specific. What part am I wrong about?
You were focusing on people's tweets.
Or do you disagree with me about?
You were focusing on people's tweets. And I think the people were just saying, hey, you switched up. We're not switching up on you. Nobody's voting blue.
There's a lot of people that say that they no longer rolling with them.
Like
on social media. Nobody specifically. Like no famous. It's not a Megyn Kelly, not a Alex Jones or nothing like that. But it's been people that has been on social media that said, no, I'm not rocking with him. I regret my vote. That's what they say. I regret my vote.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't regret my vote, but I am disappointed in the predicament that we're in. And I know he has 2.5 more years. I feel like he'll rectify some things, but obviously people are hurting. We hear what you said about the class war, not a race war. Some people abide by it, some people won't. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. The whole America first, and right now
I don't have a problem with that.
We're not feeling it. That's all.
That's cool. I'm with that. Dope sweater, by the way.
Thank you, brother.
I love it. All right, big dog.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Tazzy, You ready, Tez? You want to be on camera or off camera? On or off? On camera? All right, cool. Or off camera. All right, turn your YouTube down. On or off? Turn the YouTube down. Turn the YouTube down. All right, turn your YouTube down. On or off?
Can you hear me?
Only listen to me through the phone.
For whatever reason, I can't hear your audio from my phone.
On the phone?
So hold up.
Can you hear me? Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2.
Let me join through a different link.
Okay, cool.
Because I can't hear your audio through my phone.
All right. If anybody has a disagreement with me, or if anybody thinks differently with me and you want to hold me accountable, if you want to hold Anton from AntonDaniels.com accountable, now is your time to do so. I don't do this often, but I'm giving everybody. If you disagree with Tom Dog, you're more than welcome to come up and hold me accountable. Yeah. What do you disagree with me about? Tell me about myself. What is it that Anton from AntonDaniels.com needs to do differently? You there, Tez? Can you hear me?
I'm here.
All right, bet. What are your thoughts? What do you disagree with me about?
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you on a lot of things.
What do you disagree with me about?
I agree with you on a lot of things, but when you said something about the middle class being dead, in the way that you framed it, I think it rubbed me the wrong way.
Like what?
Because I think that's a very broad term or a very broad statement to say. Like, I stay in West Virginia, right? And I just see so much opportunity for people to get off their ass and actually make something of themselves. And I think the middle class here, something like an 80 to 100K a year, if you stay out of debt, and you stay out of the bars, and you stay out of the vape shops, you can make a very, very big impact on your legacy. And you don't have to be rich. Now, you know, everybody wants to be a millionaire, a multimillionaire, including me. But I just don't think, most people have the fortitude and the consistency to take something like that. So they would be wasting their time. They're going to get discouraged comparing themselves to someone like you or someone like anybody, that's a millionaire.
Why would anybody like me or anybody that's winning, why would we care about what somebody else think? Regardless of whether they didn't get encouraged or discouraged, what do we care about feelings? When did men start caring and letting feelings affect whether or not they take the information, use it or not? And when I ain't even get into the middle class part, but when did feelings started stopping us from doing what we gonna do?
For sure. And that's where I do agree with you on. I just disagreed with the initial statement, how you framed it. That's why
the middle class is dead.
Yeah.
It's dead. It is dead. It's
probably in Detroit.
Become $1 million is not even the same as it was in the 90s. It's not the same. And it's going to continue to erode as far as the cost, as far as the value of what the dollar is. And so when I say the middle class, if you have to work for the rest of your life in order to survive, you're not going to survive. You're one moment, one circumstance, one issue away. See, here's the difference between what the middle class used to mean and what the middle class is today. We think that the middle class is an amount that we make at our jobs. It's not, because the lifestyles has changed so significantly. What we have to have in order to be accepted in the society is completely different. We didn't have to used to have a cell phone. We didn't have to used to have a car that cost us $800 a month in order to survive. Our taxes are higher. Our property taxes are higher. The cost of living is higher. Everything is going to continue to go up, and it's never going to go down. You're not going to have deflation. You're going to have inflation. So what's going to happen is that as we continue to go in these subscription models and we replace cable, but it's actually costing us more. And Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, all of these things, we're replacing it with more finances and we're having less ownership. And this is what it's going to translate into, in my opinion, right? One disaster, 2 paychecks, 3 months off of work, you poor again. That wasn't the middle class before. You used to be able to survive. You used to be able to operate. Now you need more than one income in order for you to survive. So even if you make $50,000, $100,000, somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000 a year, it only take you being off of work for 6 months for you to be poor, and then you got to work for the next 2 to 3 years in order to get back to the middle class. That's not middle class. Middle class used to be in a space to where you could effectively raise a family and depend on one income, even if you was married.
So would you say it has more to do with people's financial habits rather than the amount of money they actually have or are making?
I believe
I hear
that
what you're saying. Like my great grandma, she was 91. She was with my great grandpa pretty much her entire life, and they raised 9 kids in a 3-bedroom house.
They was poor,
and they
that wasn't middle class.
I mean?
That's poverty.
Yeah. But they both worked in they didn't both work in a steel mill. She worked for what's called the CAC. He worked
the middle class is an illusion. It's always been an illusion, and it's been given to us so that we can feel comfortable about our circumstance.
Right.
It's so that we can strive for more. The middle class has always been dead. It's just that it's always been something that was more sustainable for a longer period of time until now. Now it's right in our face because it's a big gap between those that have and those that don't have. And so if you're not building up assets, if you're not making better decisions longer term, if you're not making better decisions, so like I'll give you an example. I went broke at 26, right? But one of the things that I knew in the early 2000s was that I had enough time to recover. I could get back. Now you have to fail earlier and get back quicker, or else you'll never be able to survive. You can't survive through these student loans because they're going to continue to accrue interest. College is going to cost you more, right? Even when it comes to relationships, the hoes cost more to deal with. You didn't have to used to do this in order to even get with a girl.
For sure.
We used to think that Red Lobster was, hey man, I'm about to take her to Red Lobster. I think I'm about to propose.
Yeah.
I didn't do no elaborate proposal. I got what, a $200 ring. Both of our rings together was like $300. And I did it outside of my car. And I never even got down on one knee. I'm like, yo, we getting married or what? Now it's may this life never find me.
Right.
The lifestyle, the cost of living, the way that we operate in order to be accepted in this society, there is no middle class because it's I want a man that's generous. Either he got to be rich. There is no family, none of that type of stuff. And you got too many things lined up against you. So whereas I was able to recover at 26 and get back rich, you know what I'm saying, by my 30s, it's different.
Yeah, it's more like expectations and habits is just completely fucked, for lack of a better term. I mean, people is just, and that's where I say I do agree with majority of it. And maybe at the time I disagree with how you framed it, but now that you've given me more context, I completely understand where you're coming from. Plus, I had to just say something. You know, I had to. You have to be a bit polarizing to get the comment section going. I see everybody.
No, I'm with you. I like the feedback. You know what I'm saying? I invited you and other people here so that y'all can tell me what I'm off about. I think that it's a good conversation. I like civil discourse.
Copy.
And just because you disagree with me don't mean that we got a beef. Like, we good.
Yeah. It's suspect when people agree too much. You know what I mean? And then there is no discourse to be had, and then we're just.
But here's the key, though. Here's the key. The difference between people that get rich and people that don't is people that are disciplined enough to not let the culture influence what they're going to do long term. So when I say that, you're going to go through a time, I went through it, right? And my biggest obstacle was my mindset when it came to not doing the things that everybody else is doing. So everybody else was going out to hang out. It was going out to the show. They was going to party. I didn't want to use my money for that. Even once I got rich, people criticized me for still staying in my mom's basement. For eventually, even when I moved out, I stayed in the apartment complex that my dad was the maintenance guy in because I didn't want to continue to pay rent. I stayed down long enough and endured through the criticism long enough to be able to actually pop out and spend some money and let my assets, you know what I'm saying, pay for my liabilities or pay for my lifestyle. Most people don't have the mental fortitude to endure through that long enough.
Yeah.
They so worried about what people gonna think about them. They worried about if people gonna all your car, all the place that you live, all of that type of stuff. That's, in my opinion, a filter. That's a filter for the people that's really with you and really rocking with you. If a hoe, it's Friday. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
If a hoe
Yeah,
tell
talk your
me
shit, bro.
that she can't mess with me because I ain't got enough money,
She ain't for you. She ain't for you. Now tell me this. How can people in 2026, because you were how old are you again?
I'm 43, about to be
35?
44.
44. All right.
And when I was 26, it was in 2008.
Okay. So I was 2008. Wow. Seemed like that was right around the corner. So
Broke as a joke.
Tell me,
to my name.
because it wasn't way different, but the culture was definitely different. Social media wasn't as, you remember, like it was a fee to get on the internet back in
Correct.
2008. I remember my dad got me my first phone. He was like, boy, stop running up that internet. You just click on it and it's like going crazy, AT&T.
Correct.
Nowadays, people sit on these all day. They
I
walk
agree.
around with these looking at
I got 2 of them.
and it's extremely
Actually,
influential.
I got 3 of them. I'm live streaming on one of them.
I got you. How would you say that people could break away from that type of mindset? Ultimately, it's a choice, right? But
you can't if you still surrounded by it.
Right.
Because if you win it, eventually you're gonna fall victim to it. It's like the culture is like a woman, bro. It's a woman that, all right, I'm gonna tell you this story. It used to be this girl. I'm gonna call her M, right? That was her name. It was longer than that, but her first initial was M.
Okay,
she
cool.
was bad as hell, bro. She was the finest. Physically, like her body was the baddest chick that I've ever seen in my entire life. I've never seen a woman shaped like that in my life, right? She always used to throw hints, always used to throw hints, always used to throw hints. She was bad as hell. And I knew I shouldn't have been messing with her, right? No way in the world I should have been with her. But she was just too bad to not just hang around and allow myself to be tempted by her, right? And this is the honest to God truth. I put this on my daughter's life. One day she hit me up and she said, and this, I couldn't have been no older than 19, 20. She hit me up and she said, yo, Anton, why don't you come through? Whatever, so on and so forth. And I said, I bet. You know what I'm saying? So I drove over there and she was naked. And she got up under the covers. And my spirit was just troubled. Now, under normal circumstances, I'm diving in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Lay your head down.
Yeah, but
tonight.
in my mind, for whatever reason, and I don't know if it was God, I don't know if it was a spirit, I don't know what it was. It was too easy.
Yeah.
It was too easy, way too easy.
In the inner city too. I mean, you probably had that instinct, you know what I mean? You got brothers.
But here's the thing, I ignored all of the signs. Like I
Yeah.
went straight over there. Normally I would be a lot more mindful. What the fuck is this? I ain't never been over there. Who house is that? And all of this type of stuff, right? But my spirit was just troubled. It was so troubled, and I just didn't feel good. No matter how bad she was, no matter how fine she was, I just didn't feel good. My point is, no, I didn't hit. I did not hit. But my point is that I allowed for myself to hang around long enough with somebody that I knew I wasn't supposed to be around in the first place, that ultimately got me in a situation that I wasn't supposed to be in.
Right.
If you hang around and you influence around somebody, eventually they are going to pull on you. They are going to influence you. They're going to convince you to do something. You're going to try something. You're going to see it. You can't keep rejecting the thing that you in front of every single day. You're going to have to figure out how to walk away and surround yourself with other people that you know is best for you.
For sure. Birds of a feather flock together.
100%.
I've heard that a million times.
So that's really the only way, is to remove yourself from the culture that you know is not best for you, in order to, you know what I'm saying, get to the right spaces.
But would you say a lot of people are because it sounds like you had instinct? You know what I mean? That's one thing that, like, I personally feel like a lot of people lack today.
And let me also tell you, I seen her probably about 7-8 years ago, walking down the street, looked skinny as hell, like she losing weight, had 3 kids, no car.
She was walking with 3 kids?
She had 3 kids and she was walking. two or 3 different baby daddies. And I'm like,
damn.
Yeah, facts.
Crashed out.
I ain't had no rubber. I ain't had nothing.
Oh yeah, you dodged the goddamn 50 caliber. You dodged the heat homing missile.
Yep, I've seen her later, and she was messed up, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Well, look, that's the honest to God truth, bro. But you got to remove yourself from certain environments in order to be successful, and you can't let people influence you or impact you and tell you that, hey, you need to be here. It's almost like, I think that most guys have to dip off and become great. You're never going to become great. It's a smaller, really minuscule possibility for you to become great in your same environment. You got to disconnect. You got to go off. You got to be by yourself. You got to go into a different environment. You got to literally cut off your old life and go and become great. And then you got to figure out what to do after that. You're never going to be able to do it. It's so hard to do it while you're still in the same environment. It's too hard, bro. I'm telling you, you got to get away. You got to become one with yourself. You got to immerse yourself in your word. You got to be studying. You got to be surrounded by other people that is going in the same direction as you. You got to literally distance yourself from your environment in order to become great.
Right, for sure. Well, I appreciate the words today, man. That was good discourse.
All right, big dog.
I emailed you. I was trying to get onto the one-on-one program.
I got you. I
rock
with you.
It's fine.
I got you.
I figured, but I'll let somebody else get up here. I had a chance.
All right, big dog.
You have a good day, man.
Yep. All right, my friend. Carrington ain't there. Carrington, when you get back, let me know, big dog. Rod, you want on or you want off? On, all right, bet. What up, Rod?
What's up, big dog? I ain't gonna hold you long.
What you disagree with me about?
All right, so is Wayne a New Orleans rapper?
I don't know where Wayne lives at anymore. I heard that he was in Miami for a little bit, but I don't know if Wayne really got a residence like that. Wayne is no longer a New Orleans rapper, in my opinion.
That's crazy to me. So 50 not a New York rapper?
No.
That doesn't make any sense.
Why doesn't it?
Because wherever you raised at is where you're from.
No, where you raised at is where you influence.
Okay, so that's
just because you got influence don't mean that's who you are.
Okay, but that's when people say where they're from or they describe themselves as being from a particular place, they're gonna reference where they were raised at.
That's how we get stripes as far as credibility in the game. Why do you listen? Now, all right, let me ask you another question. Let's stay on Wayne. Is Wayne the same rapper as he was when he was in New Orleans?
No, because he was a child.
Better or worse?
Worse.
There you go. Is 50 a better rapper than when he was in New York?
I don't even think he is still a rapper, basically.
Oh, okay. Right. That's my point.
Okay, but then how can you say...
Wait. Let's stay there.
All right.
Is Ross just as good of a rapper as he was when he first came out?
No.
You don't think that Ross is just as good as he was when he came out?
He's not as popular as he was as a rapper. We don't know him as a rapper.
I disagree. I think that Ross is has probably may not even hit his prime with his pen game, but he's still at where he from. He never moved away from where he from.
He live in Atlanta, don't he?
No, Ross is Florida all day long. He got a mansion in Atlanta. That don't mean
that's where he live.
No, it's not. Ross be in Florida.
Holyfield's mansion, right?
Ross be in Florida.
I disagree. I disagree. This don't make any sense to me.
Why don't it make sense? I'm substantiating my argument.
You started this off by saying where somebody is from is where they live most recently. And I disagree with that.
I think that where you spend the majority of your time is where you consider that what you should be claiming.
Okay, so if you spend majority of your time being raised in a place and you were in that place longer than the new place, even if it's for 10 years, then you still spend more time in that place.
If you spent more time in another place, in a place where you say that you're from or where you was born, then you are that place.
Okay, so if I spend 16 years in New Orleans and I live in Houston for 10 years, then I spend more time in New Orleans.
Yeah, but are you spending the latter years, like your last 10 years in Houston?
Right, yes.
Then you Houston. You Houston all day
disagree
long.
to disagree. That don't make sense.
You know how much a culture or place changes within 10 years? You're not even the same person that you was when you was in the place that you were.
But that don't mean that you're still not from that place, though.
You could be from there, but that's not who you are now. You're a different person.
When we think of people and we have like places that are synonymous with names, like we think of where they came from. Like even if you say that Boosie lived in Atlanta, Boosie, we know him from being from Baton Rouge, so he is a Baton Rouge influencer, rapper.
Where was Michael Jackson's Neverland?
In his backyard, right?
But what state is it in? What city is it in?
I don't know the city, but I think it's in California.
Is Michael Jackson more Neverland or is Michael Jackson more Gary, Indiana?
Gary, Indiana.
Bullshit.
That's where he's from.
Bullshit. Michael Jackson is more Neverland, California than he ever will be Gary, Indiana. Nobody thinks Michael Jackson, Gary, Indiana. As a matter of fact, a lot of people that go to Gary, Indiana don't even realize that the Jacksons was from Gary, Indiana today. The only reason that we know is because they got a memorial that's basically set up at the house that they used to be born in. He is definitely more Neverland all day long.
Okay, so just because that's where Neverland is, that doesn't mean that that's so.
But is he where he was from, or is he where he at? Where he spent the majority of his adult life at?
Okay, so you can still claim a place, but then be from somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
Okay, he can claim to be a California resident and still be from Gary, Indiana.
You are where you spent the majority of your time. Your adult life. That's who you are.
Well, we're just gonna have to disagree. All right, man. That's all.
I'm substantiating my argument. I stand on what I said. I believe that Wayne is a shell of himself because he's no longer immersed in the culture. Now you flip that and you take somebody like a Currency. It's a gap. It's a much different conversation.
The Wayne not being the same might have more to do with drug use than where he's at.
Nah, he was the best when he was on drugs.
Exactly.
In New Orleans.
Nah, no.
I bring it back from the bottom of the map. Whoa, they.
All right, man.
All right, big dog. Whoa, they. Awarded. Black, you want on camera or off camera? On camera or off camera? On? All right. What up, Black? What's the word? Can you
One
hear me?
second. Let me say, let me get off this YouTube. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Hello?
can hear you. What's going
Can you
on?
hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Hey, what's going on? It's been a long time, dog.
Chilling. What do you disagree with me about, Black?
Man, it's a lot of stuff, man. I can go from the slander of Africa to the slander of us conspiracy people like Slimmy. It's a lot of stuff I get you on, man. But I think the one thing is you afraid to go to Africa because you're afraid you might fall in love with the motherland. I'm
That I
holding you
might fall in
accountable.
love with
You
who?
don't want to go there. You just want to think there's always going to be people with flies in their eyes. You only want to think there's only flies in their eyes and they bloated stomachs. It's beautiful parts of Africa. You can ask Timmy and other people. Take a visit to the motherland, brother. Stop putting all the slander of to give
Who's
us free
motherland?
people and get you some leather sandals and go
Who's
enjoy the
motherland?
culture.
Who's motherland?
Even though we're Americans by way of Africa. Like the last brother
We're
you
not.
saying, yeah, we might be from the United States by way of Africa.
Who's
And
motherland?
also I'm
Your motherland?
also hold you accountable for and I'm gonna hold you accountable for your school that you messed up and we didn't get to finish our school in Fight Club. I'm a
What
Fight Club
school?
dropout and I ain't get to finish my schooling because you the school of Fight Club. You discontinued the school.
All right, so let's
I ain't get my degree yet.
let's stay on one subject. So as far as African women,
Mhm.
right? I think that a lot of African women are incredibly beautiful. The STD rate is too high though. All right. So you may get a Naomi Campbell, but she may have some of that uop shebang down there that you don't want, because I'm just gonna be honest with you. They have a very bad STD problem in Africa, bro. So I can't fall in love. I can't fall in love with the hive, man. The
No, that's
hive is
fine. Like
not.
you can still. I ain't saying for you to fall in love. I just fall in love with the culture. No, you ain't going. Nah. No excuse with the
What
hive. Go
culture?
see the
They
culture.
eat.
Go see the good
Nah,
parts.
nah,
No,
man.
not just not.
Y'all be eating that.
No.
Y'all eat
You
that
only focusing
Jalo
on the
and
stuff
stuff
that they
like that,
show.
man.
You only focusing on the stuff they show them donations commercials. No, actually go to where stuff is actually popping. There's plenty of
Why
stuff.
would I
Like I say,
do
you can ask
that?
Timmy. Ask the people that actually go there on a because you're afraid to find out that man, Africa is as bad as I thought it was. Oh, I got internet signal. No,
What
I
part
don't
of it?
want to hear
Give me a
Anton put
city.
the slander.
What city did I gotta go to?
Let's see. I hear what's that city? God dang it. Nairobi. I heard Nairobi is good. I heard they
Nairobi?
got a good scene out there. You can go.
Hell
There's a lot of
no.
different places. You go to South Africa. It's a lot of places in Africa that is. Yeah, Nairobi, Kenya. Nairobi, Kenya is like I hear. It's like it's more modern. It's a lot more modern from what I hear. So it's a lot of places that you
I
can
don't
go in
like the
Africa,
African food
but
from the
right
people
now
in
they don't want you to see what you don't like. Come on, you got to
I
get.
don't like
You
African
always
food.
tell us to be more culture, Anton, and
I tried it.
keep yourself limited.
I tried it.
What
I
you
don't like
try?
African food. I don't like Nigerian food. I don't like African food. I don't like none of that. I don't like none of that booty scratcher food.
Man, you never had that spicy chicken, the spicy
Uh,
chicken with the rice. That go hard.
I don't want none of that shit. I'll give me a
It's
good
all good time though,
American.
but at least go.
Give me an American
All right, you can go
cheeseburger.
get you. You can go get you some. You can go get you some goat burgers in Africa, and
I
you
don't
be
want no
good.
goat. I don't want no goat. They probably nutted in them goats.
Man, I just want you to give Africa a chance, brother. Give Africa a chance. It ain't all flies in the eyes and bloated stomachs. And
Send me the
also,
location,
we
and
need
I'm
to
gonna
get
pull
that
it up
Fight
on Google
Club
Maps.
two,
Send me the
Fight Club 2,
location.
so I can finish my
Send me the location. I'm gonna pull it up on Google Maps and we gonna see.
Agree, so I can get in my get my struggle streaming on.
You got your struggle streaming popping. I gotta put you
So I
down for a second.
can get, get the knowledge.
All right, I appreciate
Show some
you.
love
Your
to
connection is messed up. Your connection is messing up.
Oh, hold on. I got away from the Wi-Fi because I'm at my job. But look, what else was I gonna say? It was another thing is I say don't be so hard on Slimmy and Molly because they be know what they talk about. They may not be able to always explain it all the time, but like if you go on do a research on the conspiracy side, I understand you want to get the facts, but if you got too many things that's becoming too much of a coincidence, maybe it's not a coincidence. There's so much stuff that I can't get into because I don't want to mess up your flag your channel. But there's so many people that the people that's involved that I've done my research on that I can say that it kind of shows you that this been going on. Like certain times I might text certain things on the super chat in my other name that you guys might know me from, and they be Molly be seeing some of my points that I be making, and sometimes Slimmy that the conspiracy, there is some points to it. Maybe not all of it. Yeah, of course, they might sprinkle a little bit of mistruths in there, but it's going to be most of it's going to be true because if you go back into the history and do your proper research, you can see all the connections of how all this stuff happened. Where you want to go with how the bankers got involved with our country. I know all that stuff. So the information's out there. You just got to go out there. You got to find it.
I'll check. I'll listen to you on a Slimmy and Molly point. As far as the African point, I don't know I don't know what the
Come on, Time Dog. Man, the pyramids is beautiful. That's one of my goals is to definitely go check out Egypt and all the great places in Africa. Go ahead, dog.
I was with this girl in college. She was from Johannesburg, and she was a little hard, a little stiff. She wasn't as soft as I wanted her to be. Now, I'm not saying that that's all African women. I'm just saying
that she had foot pads.
Nah, they just be a little stiff, a little hard sometimes. But I'm pretty sure y'all got some more softer. I need something soft around me, man. I don't want to be around no hard legs, man.
Okay, I understand, man, but still the culture, you still run away from that. There's a lot of sceneries and stuff in Africa that's gonna be like they don't show you that stuff. There's so much stuff that they don't show that is like it's beautiful, but they only gonna show you the poverty.
All right. So I remember when she put her feet against my my calves.
Oh, she has like I said, she had foot pads. I understand because you walk around barefoot all the time, your feet gonna get extra skin on it. Yeah. Gonna get thicker.
I gave her 2 pair of socks though. I gave her 2 pair of socks. I said, put these on. I said, you go. Put these on.
What do you think about what Myron was talking about last night? Because he be going in.
It was a dope conversation. It was a lot to unpack. So I'm going through it. I'm rewatching it now.
It all has to do with like the World Economic Forum, 1913. I'm just gonna give you a little certainty. This is like it ties into all that stuff. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, brother. That's what's going on.
Friend. All right. Yeah, I had to give her 2 pair of socks. If anybody else want to hold me accountable before I get off, yeah. I mean, it might have just been her. I gave her 2 pair of socks though when I said, put these on. I said, your feet so cold. All girls got defects. That's the thing that people don't understand. All girls got defects. I'm gonna read super chats in it shortly, but all women, every last one of them. That's the key to life. Is that all women have a defect. All of them. Don't matter how cute they are, don't matter how bad they are, it's a defect somewhere in her life, in her personality. And you got to figure out the defects that you can live with and some of them that you can't live with.